Yeah, kind of forms. Oh yeah. Kind. Shalom, shalom, Israel, shalom, peace and blessings to all of the hopefully elect, the 12 tribes of Israel scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. Peace and salutations to all of the brothers that's pushing this truth and sincerity. All of the men and women that are repenting in these last days, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. The men that are going forth and being apostles, evangelists, bishops, teachers, and teachers of righteous things. All of the women that are being daughters of Sarah in these last days, or being their husbands as they will obey the Lord, getting their houses in order, teaching the children good things, and all of the brothers that may not be going out and teaching, but they're keeping the commandments and they're trying to get their spirit right in the last days. Shalom to all of the 12 tribes of Israel. Peace and blessings. Fisherman for Zion, coming back at you with another live stream through the spirit and power and the grace of the Most High. Today we're going through a lesson. Throughout the previous Sabbath service, we've been going into salvation, how to receive salvation, etc. Today we're going to go through a so-called controversial topic within hell. Right, a lot of people today still think that hell is a place underground where Satan is there. It's a big red man. He's kind of strong and buff, and he got muscles and a 12 pack. He got a pitchfork. He's poking people. Yeah, with his tail. If you've been naughty or nice, you're gonna go to a place underground called hell. Right? We're gonna see if that's in the Bible or not. Right? Where that even came from. I'm gonna just be honest with you. Hell is not in the Bible. Right? The place called hell, where it's underground and the Satan is there and it's poking you with a pitchfork. That's not in the Bible. Right? Not from the front of the book to the back of the book. Right? That was a philosophy given to our people, created by our oppressor. Right? Chiefly called Dante's Inferior, right?
Inferno.
Dante's Inferno, right? That's where that theology comes from, right? But it's not in the Bible, not at all. So it's our duty and our job to go through the precepts in the Bible to give you the proper sense, right? Real quick, let's get the Sabbath, though. Give me the book of Acts, chapter 28 and verse 4. Acts 28 and 4.
Chapter 28 and verse 4. It reads, "And when the barbarians saw the venomous beast hang on his hand,"
Salakia, start at verse. That's Acts chapter 28 and verse 4. That's what I want. Start at verse 3. Salakia, I want the book of Acts chapter 20. I want Acts 18 and 4. Salakia. Acts 18 and 4.
The book of Acts chapter 18 and verse 4. "And he reasoned in the synagogue every Sabbath and persuaded the Jews and the Greeks."
Right. So it's our job to persuade the Jews and the Greeks, all right, to give them the proper sense of what the scriptures is saying. The Jews and the Greeks being all 12 tribes of Israel, right? Those that know that they're Israel and those, that don't know that they're the Israelites. They don't know that they're the chosen ones, but they have another name, right? Such as African American or Hispanic or Black or Latino, or all of these bywords that you were given in the land where you were carried captive, right? So our duty and our job to teach our people their nationality, repentance, how to receive salvation, right? The Lord taught repentance. So that's what we're doing in these last days, teaching repentance, right? And a part of repentance is giving our people the sound doctrine of the scriptures, right? So real quick, let's get Second Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 4, right? 2 Corinthians, the 10th chapter and the 4th verse.
The book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 10, verse 4. "For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds."
Right? So it's our job to pull down the strongholds, right? A lot of our people, they were taught, by their grandma, and their grandma was taught by their great grandma, because the fathers was taken out of the home. Your father wasn't there. He may have been an old drunkie, sitting on the porch all day, talking about, you don't know what to do with that spirit. Looking at women saying, you don't know what to do with that, boy. Right? Your fathers, they didn't have anything. The Lord told us to go to our fathers and he will show thee. But unfortunately, our fathers were murdered and castrated in captivity. So who did we learn from? We learned from our grandmas, right? That's pretty much what we learned from. Your grandma, she was, beating a tambourine and, she was playing a tambourine. She big mama, she was singing, and she was preaching at the same time, right? And what did they teach us? They taught us religion or Christianity and things that the scriptures doesn't apply to, right? Philosophies and vain deceit.
Yeah.
So we got to break down the strongholds on our people, right? It's another one. Get 1 Peter, right? Chapter 1 and verse 16, right?
1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 16. Because it is written, be ye holy, for I am holy. Read verse 17. And if ye call on the Father, who without respect of persons judgeth according to every man's work.
So like, go to 2 Peter chapter 1 and verse 16. But that's a good precept. We supposed to, right? And you find holiness through the scriptures, right? Things that are set apart, things that are not of this world, right? But I want 2 Peter chapter 1 and verse 16.
Look at 2 Peter chapter 1 and verse 16. For we have not followed cunningly devised fables.
Now, the scriptures told us to not follow fables, right? Cunningly devised fables. Now, hell, right? That ideology of hell where there's a man underground, right? Poking you with a pitchfork and you'll burn for all eternity, right? That's a fable, right? That's not, that has nothing to do with what the Lord taught. That's not in the scriptures, right? You don't see anybody in the scriptures that died and they went to hell. That's not in the Bible, right? It's a devised fable. Right, that was taught by someone that had no knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And chiefly, hell was given to you, so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, to keep you in fear, right? To dilute you and to let your lives be lived in fear, so that you can be subject under the powers that be, right? Your oppressor, right? Read that again.
The book of 2 Peter chapter 1 and verse 16. For we have not followed cunningly devised fables,
right?
When we made known unto you the power and coming of our Lord Jesus Christ.
Right. So, well, our job is to teach you the truth about the Lord, man. Right. Who he is, even from his image. You got people that, well, it's not about his color, it's about what he came to do. Hey, it's supposed to teach everything that's in the Bible, man. His image, to what he said, to what he did, what he came for, who he came for. Right. So you can't, if anybody that's set up to be a teacher, they're supposed to teach you actually what the Bible say. In hell, underground, right? A place where you go, it's not in the Bible, right? Kind of bring it up.
Book of Isaiah, chapter 8 and verse 20, to the law and to the testimony.
The Lord said to the law and to the testimony, read.
If they speak not according to this word.
Right? If they're not going through the precepts, right? You got pastors that's teaching our people, they don't even know what a precept is, right? We out teaching, all the time. Downtown, we say, well, and we see pastors say, well, what's the precept? He said, precept, what's that?
Right.
They don't know what's going on, right? So to the law and to the testimony, read.
If they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them.
Now the word light means truth, right? Then the Lord said, I am the way, the truth, and the light, right? So they have no truth in them, right? So they lied to you, right? And that's what we're going to go through today. Right, real quick, let's get one more in the book of Titus chapter 1 and verse 14.
Okay.
Right, yeah. Titus chapter 1, and verse 14.
Titus chapter 1 and verse 14. Not giving heed to Jewish fables.
Right, Jewish fables. Right, read.
And commandments of men.
So you're not supposed to give heed to anyone that's setting themselves up as being the true teachers. Because the Jews, right, in order for you to be a Jew, you have to descend from a man named Judah, right? The real Jews are so-called black men, right? Black men, Negroes, niggas, right? Those are the real Jews. Now, guess what? They were deceived. They were thrown in prison houses. They set up crack cocaine in their communities, right? They made them to be prostitutes and whores. So these men have been hidden for a long time. But now you're in a season where these men are waking up in these last days and teaching our people the truth, righteousness, the commandments, who we truly are, how to get out of America, right? So through the Spirit and power of the Most High, we're going to show you that hell is not in the Bible, right? And what happens after you die, right? But in order to understand hell, you have to understand the levels of heaven, right? Now, there's not just one heaven. People think, heaven is in the sky, where the Most High dwells at, when I die, You know, I want to make it to heaven. You know, I don't want to get cast down on the lever and drop down with Satan under the ground. And, you know, I'm down there and I'm burning for eternity, right? That's not what it's talking about, right? So there's different heavens, right? Chiefly, there's 4 heavens, right? There's 4 heavens, right? Now, real quick, let's prove that there's more than one heaven, right? Let's get the book of Genesis, right? Let's start from the beginning. Let's get the book of Genesis, chapter 1 and verse 5, I think.
Genesis chapter 1 and verse 5. And the Most High caused the light.
Yeah, Genesis 1 and 7.
Verse 7. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. Verse 8. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day.
And the evening and the morning were the second day. Right? Read on.
And God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together and unto one place.
Right.
And let the dry land appear. And it was so.
So like, that's not what I want. Heavens. I want the plural where it says heavens. It's Genesis chapter 1 and verse. Salakia, bear with me. Heavens and it's plural. Is it not 2?
It might be 2.
Heavens. Salakia, bear with me. It's plural.
2.
Yeah, it's 2 and 1. Kind. That's what I want. Yeah, Genesis chapter 2 and verse. Yeah, it's 1 through 4.
The book of Genesis
chapter 2. Kind of bring it out.
And verse 1. Thus the heavens.
The who?
The heavens.
Right.
And the earth were finished.
The heavens, right? It's plural. The heavens and the earth were finished. Right? Letting you know that there's more than one heaven. Right? Because it's plural. There's an S, meaning it's more than one. It's that simple. Right? Read verse 4.
Verse 4. These are the generations of the heavens.
These are the generations of the heavens. Read on.
And of the earth.
And of the earth. Right? Let's get the book of Psalms. Psalms chapter 33 and verse 6. Right? Psalms 33 and 6. In order for you to understand the levels of hell, you have to understand the levels of heaven. Right? So Psalms chapter 33 and verse 6.
The book of Psalm chapter 33 and verse 6. By the word of the Lord.
By the word of the Lord. Now, the word is who? It's talking about Yahweh Shai. Who is Yahweh Shai? Who you call Jesus Christ. Right? Real quick, go to Genesis 1 and 1. Right? Genesis 1 and 1.
The book of Genesis chapter 1 and verse 1.
Right?
In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth.
Now, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. The God that it's talking about is the powers. It's the Alahayim, right? It's talking about Jesus Christ, Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, and the angels, right? It's plural. When you look up that word God, it's plural. It's not talking about the Most High God that sits in the heaven on his throne, right? But it's talking about his son and the angels, right? So go back to Psalms chapter 33. And verse 6.
Psalm 33 and 6. By the word of the Lord.
Right. By the word of the Lord. Right. Yahweh Shai. Right. Jesus Christ. Read on.
Were the heavens made.
Were the who?
Were the heavens made.
The heavens were made by the word. Right. Talking about the Lord and his angels. Right. Nowhere in the creation do you see the Lord created. The angels were created prior to. Right. The angels and the Lord, they created all of these things. The Most High God gave the decree to his son and the angels, and they created what you see, right? The firmament and the stars and the elements thereof, right? Read that again.
Verse 6, Psalm 33 and 6. By the word of the Lord were the heavens made.
Right.
And all the host of them by the breath of his mouth.
And all of the host of them was made by the breath of his mouth, right? So let's go through the elements of heaven, right? Now, again, there's 4 heavens. Right, let's get Genesis 1 and 5 now.
Book of Genesis, chapter 1 and verse 5. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. and the evening and the morning were the first day.
Right? God called the light day, right? In the darkness, he called night. In the evening and the morning were the first day, right? Read on.
And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters,
Right?
and let it divide the waters from the waters.
Right? Let there be, it says, let there be a firmament in the midst, right, of the waters. Right? This is talking about the sky, right? This is the sky where you see birds, right? Where you see now you see so-called airplanes up in the sky, right? That's one heaven in the sky, right? Read on.
Verse 7, and God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament.
Right. Let's go to Genesis chapter 7 and verse 23. Right. To prove that the sky is one heaven. Right. Genesis chapter 7 and verse 23.
Genesis 7 and 23. And every living substance was destroyed, which was upon the face of the ground,
Right.
both man and cattle,
Both man and cattle. Right. Read on.
and the creeping things,
And the what?
and the creeping things,
Read.
and the fowl of the heaven.
The fowl of the heaven. Right. What is the fowl of the heaven? It's talking about the birds, the things that fly in the sky. Right. So where they're dwelling at, that's their heaven. Right? That's their thing, man. Right? They in the sky, they all up in the clouds, etc. Right? Flying and stuff, going from mountain to mountain, right? Going from this landmass to this landmass, flying in the sky. That's their heaven. That's where they dwell at. Right? Read that again.
Verse 23, Genesis 7 and 23. And every living substance was destroyed, which was upon the face of the ground, both man and cattle, and the creeping things, and the fowl of the heaven.
And the fowl of the heaven, right? Let's go to Genesis chapter 8 and verse 2.
Genesis 8 and 2. The fountains also of the deep and the windows of heaven
The windows of heaven
were stopped, and the rain from heaven was restrained.
and the rain from heaven was restrained, right? So where's the rain at? Does it comes right above the firmament, right? It can, right? But chiefly it's talking about the clouds, right? Where the clouds are, where you see the clouds and the birds, etc. That's a heaven, right? That's one heaven, right? Let's get another one on that. Revelation chapter 19 and verse 17.
Revelation chapter 19 and verse 17.
Yeah, Revelations 19 and 17.
And I saw an angel standing in the sun,
Right? And I saw an angel standing in the sun, right?
and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven,
In the midst of where?
in the midst of heaven.
So the fowls, they fly in the midst of heaven, right? You know, a lot of you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American, you think you have superpower. That's why you into that anime stuff. You think that you can kind of dwarf at night and just kind of go fly in the sky, right? You can't do that, right? You may think you can try, but guess what? You can't do it, right? Now, the heavens where the fowls at, that's their heaven, man, right? That's their heaven where the birds are, right? Read that again.
Revelation 19 and 17. And I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven, come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great God.
Right. So the fowls, they have their own thing in heaven, right? That's the first heaven, right? In the sky, in the clouds, right? Where the birds dwell, right? Where you can physically see rain coming down from the heavens, right? From that first heaven in the sky. Right. Let's go to the second one. Let's go to the book of Genesis, chapter 1 and verse 14.
Book of Genesis chapter 1 and verse 14.
Right? Genesis chapter 1 and verse 14. Now, anybody that's telling you about heaven, they should be able to go through the precepts, right? They should be able to give you at least 2 to 3 precepts on what they're talking about, right? Genesis chapter 1 and verse 14.
Genesis
Right.
1 and 14. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years.
What are your signs and seasons? It's talking about the stars, right? Do you see the stars where the clouds are and where the birds are? No, It's above that heaven,
Mm.
right? Where is that? That's in what you call so-called outer space, right? Read that again.
Genesis 1 and 14. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night,
Right?
and let them be for signs and for seasons.
So these lights are for signs and for seasons, right? This is the light where you so-called wake up in the so-called morning, right? You say, oh, well, the sun is out, right? Oh, well, that's the moon, right? This is the light that it's talking about, and it's for signs and seasons. Why? Real quick, let's get the book of Joel, right? About signs and seasons. Joel, better know what I want. I want the book of Joel, chapter 2 and verse 10. Joel chapter 2 and 10. Let's read that.
The book of Joel, chapter 2 and verse 10. The earth shall quake before them, the heavens shall tremble, the sun and the moon
The sun and the moon, read.
shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining.
Right, because that's another heaven, right? The heavens shall tremble. Right, now this is going into the destruction of the Most High. The Lord told you that He would give us signs and seasons. Like you have the so-called blood moon, right? That's for a sign in the season of the Lord's second return, right? The so-called solar eclipse. All of these things are signs given by the Most High for men so that we can understand the times that we're living in, right? So read that one more time in Genesis 1 and 14.
Book of Genesis, chapter 1 and verse 14.
Right, this is the second heaven. The first heaven, you have the sky, right, where the clouds are, where the fowls of the air flow, right? Genesis 1 and 14.
And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years.
Days and years. That's why you have a lot of people now into so-called astrology. They're trying to look at the stars and, they're trying to, what's your zodiac sign? They're trying to get into all these things that the Most High did not give them in this time. And they're using it for the left-hand side, right? To try to figure out, well, let me see your characteristics, tell me your birthday, right? Hey, that's madness, right? That's madness. It was at one point in time where we had that understanding, right? To understand these things on the right-hand side. That's why you have so-called Aztecs or the Mayans. They were able to calculate, and kind of predict, when the Lord will return. So I said, well, 2012, right? And then there's a new understanding that came out and said, well, they kind of ran out of space, right? And they kind of stopped at 2012, right? But chiefly, those were the Northern Kingdom, and they understood astrology and time, right? Let's get the precept on that in the book of Psalms. Psalms chapter 14 and verse 13. Right, about the second heaven.
14 and verse 13.
Kind.
Salaki, start at 7.
Psalms chapter 14, and I want Isaiah. Salaki. I want Isaiah 14 and 13.
Look at Isaiah 14 and verse 13. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven.
For thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven. Read on.
I will exalt my throne above the stars of God.
Above the stars of God. Read on.
I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north.
In the sides of the north. That's just so-called outer space. Right? Now, chiefly, this is talking about America, the so-called white man. Right? When they go up and they say, we've been to the moon and, we're doing all these things and we got our space force. Right? This is talking about the so-called white man. It's not talking about Lucifer. Right? In Isaiah the 14th chapter, if you jump up, it's talking about Babylon, right? Babylon meaning confusion, which is America, right? Ancient Babylon came back as America, right? Now, real quick, now that's the second heaven. Let's go to the third in the Corinthians, right? 2 Corinthians chapter 12, right? Now, remember, the Lord said that He made the heavens plural, right? So we just showed you the first heaven, which is in the sky. The clouds, where the fowls dwell, right? You have the second heaven, which is where? So-called outer space, right? Where you have the stars and the moon and the sun, right? And, all of the other so-called planets, right? So let's see where the third heaven is. right? Let's go to the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 2.
2 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 2. I knew a man in Christ above 14 years ago.
Now, this is our beloved brother Paul speaking, right? Who's an Israelite, right? Read on.
Whether in the body, I cannot tell, or whether out of the body, I cannot tell. God knoweth.
So Paul is having what the world would call a so-called outer body experience. He's speaking about himself, right? So read that again.
Verse 2. I knew a man in Christ above 14 years ago. Whether in the body, I cannot tell, or whether out of the body, I cannot tell. God knoweth. Such an one caught up to the third heaven.
To the what heaven?
To the third heaven.
He says, such an one, I was caught up unto the third heaven, right? Now, he's letting you know that there's more than one heaven, right? Again, the first heaven, you have it in the skies, right? Where the fowls dwell, right? Then you have a little up above that in the so-called outer space. Now, Paul went up to the third heaven. Now, where's the third heaven? That's where the Most High dwells at, man. Right? That's where the Almighty, the Omnipotent One, right? The ones that knows everything, the Ancient of Days, right? Real quick, let's go to the book of Daniel, right? About the Ancient of Days. Whoever get there first, bring it out, right? The book of Daniel, chapter 7.
The book of Daniel, chapter 7, and verse
Start at
13.
Yeah, you can start at you can start at verse 13.
Daniel 7 and 13. I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him.
Right now, this is talking about the Son of Man, Yahweh Shah, right? He came to his Father, the Ancient of Days, right? The angels presented the Son to the Father, right? Read that again.
Daniel 7 and 13. I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him.
They brought him near before him. Now, real quick, let's go to Genesis chapter 28 and verse 12, right? Let's get a little more context on this. Genesis 28 and verse start at 12.
Genesis chapter 28 and verse 12.
Now, this is your forefather speaking right here, right? Bring it out.
And he dreamed, and behold, a ladder set up on the earth.
He is talking about Jacob, right? Your forefather, the progenitor and the founding father of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. The father of you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, right? One of the most greatest men to ever walk on the heavens, right? Now he said, I dreamed, read on.
And behold, a ladder set up on the earth, and the top of it reached to heaven.
So he's having a dream, and it's set up on the earth, right? And he's seeing a ladder, right? It's going up, and it reached up to the heavens, right? Read on.
And behold, the angels of God ascending and descending on it.
So he's seeing angels coming up and down this ladder, right? Now the angels, they come from the third heavens and they come to the earth, right? Real quick, get that in the book of Tobit real quick. The book of Tobit, chapter, I think it's 12. Real quick about Raphael. The book of Tobit, chapter 12 and verse 15. Tobit, chapter 12 and verse 15.
The book of Tobit, chapter 12, verse 15. I am Raphael, one of the 7 holy angels,
right,
which present the prayers of the saints, and which go in and out before the glory of the Holy One.
See that? So Raphael, one of the 7 holy angels, he comes from the heavens and he enters inside of the earth and he hears the saints' prayers, right? Hey, so you should be praying in these last days, man. You should be praying in these last days that the Lord have mercy on you from the destruction that's about to come to the Americas. or so that the Lord can open up your mind so that you can be able to understand and receive the truth, that you're an Israelite, that you got to repent, that you got to keep the commandments. The Lord show you who your enemies are, how to escape Jacob's trouble, to know what seal you living in, right? All of these things. So the angels come from the heavens into the earth,
I got it.
right? You got precept? Kind of bring it up.
The book of Revelation, chapter 8, verse 3. And another angel came and stood at the altar, having a golden censer,
Right,
and there was given unto him much incense,
right.
that he should offer it with the prayers of all saints upon the golden altar, which was before the throne.
See that? So the angels come into the heavens, man, to hear your prayers, man. Now, how do they come? Do they just kind of, do they ride a bicycle? What did they do? Right? Hey, they come on the chariots, man. Right? That's why a lot of people, they're like, well, what is that in the sky? Is that, is that a blimp? What's going on? Real quick, let's get the book of Psalms, chapter 103, right? Any brother got a precept, hey, please bring it up. Psalms chapter 103 and verse 3, right? Verse 4.
Psalm 103 and verse 4. Who redeemeth thy life from destruction?
Slakia, 104 and verse 3.
Psalm 104 and verse 3. Who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot.
Who maketh the clouds his chariots, read.
Who walketh upon the wings of the wind.
Who walketh upon the wings of the wind, right? Now, the chariots, right, are vehicles that the angels use to come to the heavens. This is how you're going to be saved out of Babylon the Great, right? Who do you think led Moses in the chosen people, right? It was a chariot that came up. What do you think that light was about? Hey, what do you think your forefathers and your foremothers was in a slave field singing, swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home, right? That's how the angels come down to the heavens. Do we need to get another one? Brothers got another one on that? Moving on. All right, let's get one more. Revelations 1 and 7. Right? Revelations 1 and 7. Right? So now these chariots are hypersonic technology waves that cannot be created by man. Now they come and they enter the earth. Now the so-called white man knows this. He keeps his information hidden from you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, right? By giving you all manner of media, by giving you all manner of entertainment, right? Jake wants to be the top rapper in America now. Jake wants to be Little Baby and the Baby, right? And Little Wayne and Little this and Little that, right?
Grown men with
Yeah.
baby titles.
Yeah, man. Grown men with baby titles, man. Right? Hey, you supposed to be a king and a priest on the earth, man.
Little,
Right? Yeah,
Wayne
man.
and Lil, come on, man.
Little Zane,
Come on,
right?
man.
Little Foot, right? Hey, man, stop calling yourself Little, man. Right? Hey, rename yourself, man. Call yourself a king and a prince, man.
That's
They
right.
called you little, man. They called you a nigga man and a nigga boy and shaved your beard off, right? And looked inside of your mouth and what his teeth like and right? And knocked the teeth out your mouth, man. Right? And guess what? Right? You subject yourself to being a little man in the society, right? Now you don't want to take care of your family. Now you don't want to read the Bible, right? So you got to change your mindset, man, and learn who you are, right? You an Israelite, man, a king and a prince on this earth, man, right? We wasn't created. We didn't come to America to be rappers and celebrities and etc. Right? Hey, you came here to serve your punishment, man. Right? Now that our punishment and our judgment is almost up, guess what? Time to rise up, man. Put on your crown, man. Right? Learn who you are. So Revelations 1 and 7. Right? About the chariots. Right? These are how the angels come. And this is how you're gonna leave America, man. Right? You're not leaving America in a Porsche. You're not leaving America, right? In these scooters, man, that they got all downtown, man, all on the side of the road, right? You think you're gonna leave America on a transit bus? No, man. Right? You leaving America in high fashion, right? And let's see how you're gonna leave America, right? Revelations 1 and 7.
Revelation chapter 1 and verse 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds.
He cometh with what?
He cometh with clouds.
Hey, the Lord is not coming back how you think he's coming back. The Lord is coming back on clouds. These clouds are hypersonic technology vehicles, right? That can zoom and zap across the sky. That's how the Lord is coming back.
He said he won't coming back as a man either.
And that's
He said he won't coming back as a man.
That's right, man. Right? He's coming. Hey, get that in the book of Acts, chapter 1 and verse start at verse 9. Right? Read that again.
Revelation 1 and 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him,
Right?
and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail
Now,
because of him.
but now everybody is gonna see the Lord because they're gonna see those thousands and thousands of chariots that enters inside of the earth, right? Which is another heaven that we're gonna get into, right? You got that? Kind of bring it up.
To the book of Acts, chapter 1, verse 9. And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up.
He was what?
He was taken up,
Right?
and a cloud,
In a what?
a cloud,
The Lord was taken up in a cloud, the same way Elijah was taken up, the same way Enoch, the righteous Enoch, was taken up, right? He was taken up in a chariot, man, right? With angels, right? Read on,
and the cloud received him out of their sight.
right?
And while they looked steadfastly toward heaven, and while they looked steadfastly toward heaven,
Right?
as he went up, behold, two men stood by them in white apparel.
In white apparel. And guess who there were? Those were black angels,
Right.
right? The angels are black, right? They look just like you, man, right? And guess what? These elites, this top society, they know this, man, right? That's why they pollute you and dilute you with everything, man. That's why they give you Facebook and they want you to kind of clown and joke up here all day, right? They kind of want you to tell all of your business and, you know, keep scrolling and see who said this and see who did that, right? That's why they want you to, you know, hey, just be into all manner of folly, right? Things that have no profit for you, right? So, hey, get off Facebook, man, right? Get off Instagram, get off all of these things and do what? Learn who you are, man, right? Repent, right? Because we almost out of here, man, right? We are, hey, look up UFO sightings. The world calls them UFOs, right? But they're not UFOs.
That's right.
Right. Hey, they're IFOs. Right?
IFO.
Identified
That's right.
flying objects. Because we know what they are.
Yes, they
Those are the angels. And your grandmother, your great-great-grandmother knew what they are. That's why they said, swing low, sweet chariot. Right? Come get me out of here, baby. Right? Please. Right? I want to go to the promised land. Right? And you should too. Right? So let's get another one, right? On the chariots. It's getting good, right? Let's get the book. You got one?
Yeah.
Kind of bring it out.
The book of Isaiah chapter 66 and verse 15.
Kind,
For behold, the Lord will come with fire,
right?
and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire.
Yeah, because the chariots of the Lord, they're not coming back, you know, to sing kumbaya with the entire planet Earth. They're coming back to destroy America, man. Right? You're not going to find America anymore. And we're going to kind of get into that later on. But the point is, he comes with clouds, with our chariots. Now, another one on that, Isaiah chapter 31, right? And start at verse 4, right?
Isaiah chapter 31
Isaiah 31 and 4.
and verse 4.
Right? Talking about the chariots.
For thus hath the Lord spoken unto me,
Right?
like as the lion and the young lion roaring on his prey. When a multitude of shepherds is called forth against him, he will not be afraid of their voice, nor abase himself for the noise of them. So shall the Lord of hosts come down to fight for the Mount Zion.
The Lord of hosts, meaning the Lord in his army, right? Meaning the Lord in all of the other men that are going to be with him. Those are the angels. The Lord is coming back with an army to do what? To save the other army that's on the earth, right? And it's going to tell you that, right? Read on.
And for the hill thereof, as birds flying, so will the Lord of hosts defend Jerusalem.
The hosts are going to be flying like birds. They're going to come from the third heaven, right? And come through where? Through the second heaven, through the first heaven, right? And down to the earth to save the Israelites, right? It says, flying, so will the Lord.
So will the Lord of hosts defend Jerusalem. Defending also, he will deliver it, and passing over, he will persevere it.
Right? He will preserve it.
Preserve it.
He will preserve it, meaning he's going to save the 1/3, the elect of the children of Israel, right? So We went through the first heaven, right? Which is where? In the sky, in the clouds, right? Where the birds and the fowls dwell at. Then you got the second heaven, which is the stars and the moon and the other so-called planets, etc. So-called outer space. Then what you have above that, right? Above that, you have the third heavens, right? Which is where the Most High dwells at, right? And you can't, Esau, which is the so-called white man, he tries to go outer space to crack the firmament, right? We're in a firmament, right? In a dome. He tries to crack the firmament and to kind of try to spy on the Lord, to kind of try to, create war with the Lord. But guess what? He's not going to win the Lord. He's not going to win the war, man. Right? So that's the third heaven. Now, let's get the fourth heaven, right? Brothers got precept?
I was gonna bring one out about the IFO.
Oh, good one.
This last one, this book of Zechariah, chapter 5, verse 1. Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. And when he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll.
He said, what you see? Right? He said, I see a flying roll. Read on.
The length thereof is 20 cubits.
Right?
And the breadth thereof 10 cubits.
So the length thereof is 20 cubits, which is about the size of a transit bus. Right? Read on.
Then said he unto me, this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth.
Right?
For every one that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side according to it.
See that? And the reason it's the curse because these angels are not coming back to be your friends. They're coming back to destroy the wicked. All right?
Praises.
That's it on that?
No, I got some more.
Come.
And every one that sweareth shall be cut off as on the side according to it. Verse 4. And I will bring it forth, saith the Lord of hosts. And it shall enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name. And it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof. So that's the fire and brimstone he's talking about.
That's right. That's right. And we're gonna touch that, Most High willing, see how the spirit moves. Now, that's the third heaven, where the Most High dwells at, where the angels come from, and etc. Now, give me the book of Lamentations chapter 2 and 1. Right? Lamentations chapter 2 and 1. Right? This is the fourth heaven. Right? Let's see where the fourth heaven is. Right? You have four heavens. Right? Four heavens. Right? It's not one big heaven. If you've been nice, right? You go to that heaven, after you kind of got hit with an 18-wheeler, and you went to church last Sunday and you thought that you got saved and you went to the altar and you gave your life to Jesus Christ, right? And that was your last thing that you did, and then you caught COVID, right? What they said, well, I went to the altar and the pastor came to pray for me and I gave my life to Jesus, right? Maybe he has a spot in the heavens, or in heaven rather, right? Hey, there's four heavens, man, right? And if you've been naughty, he smoked crack cocaine for his batch, and maybe he went down, where Satan is, and he kind of didn't make it. Right? Hey, that's not what's going on in the Bible, man. Right? So let's see where the fourth heaven is. Right? Lamentations 2 and 1.
The book of Lamentations. The book of Lamentations, chapter 2, verse 1. How hath the Lord covered the daughter of Zion with a cloud in his anger, and cast down from heaven unto the earth the beauty of Israel.
So read that one more time.
All right.
Sure.
All right. The book of Lamentations, chapter 2, verse 1. How hath the Lord covered the daughter of Zion with a cloud in his anger, and cast down from heaven unto the earth the beauty of Israel.
So the Lord cast down the Israelites to the earth, right? Is that talking about the Israelites? They was up there, and then they got sent down, and hey man, you got to go through the precept to see what it's talking about. This fourth heaven is on the earth, right? Now they were cast down to a lower state, right?
Wow, yeah.
Why? Because of their iniquities, right? And the Lord told us in the book of Job, the 11th chapter, that things can be twofold, right? Now, real quick, to get the proper or the understanding for this verse, let's go to the book of Deuteronomy. All right, 28 and verse 43.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 43.
Real quick, go to Deuteronomy 1 and 1. All right, Deuteronomy 1 and 1.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 1 and verse 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
So Moses is speaking to the Israelites, and this is what he told them. Deuteronomy 28, 43.
Deuteronomy 28 and 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low.
Right?
He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail.
Now you're nothing but a nigga man and a nigga woman.
Yeah.
Right? Getting spit on in your face. It was a video of a Jake woman, right, washing the dishes, and an old Edomite. She had a spiritual demon Satan on her. Right? She walked to it and spit on her, man. Right? Yeah, spitting food on her. She kind of didn't know what was going on, but that spiritual demon Satan was in her. Right? It was on the app called TikTok. Right? And guess what? She was spitting on her. Why? Because the daughter of Zion has been brought down low. Right? That's what it's talking about. Right? You getting hoses of water sprayed on you. Right? You marching for justice and peace, but you're not getting it.
Dog sick on you.
Yeah, dogs sick on you.
Mhm.
You know, you trying to sit and eat a good meal, but guess what? They telling you, get out of here, nigga, man. Right? This is not your table. Whites only. Throwing food at you. Right? Now you're applying to live in the best neighborhoods and you're rejected because your credit bad. Right? And you don't got a good so-called job. Right? You know, you kind of went to college and try to go the college route, and now you're in all of this debt. You trying to climb up in the side, but it's not happening. You in the projects in the slums, right? You walk outside, you see your brother that look like you. He want to shoot you up in the face, right? Because you got a color that he loves, right? Or, you know, you're from a different street than his. Madness, man. A lot of madness is going on with the so-called black man, Hispanic and Native American man, right? Or even you people that think that you're holy, man, right? You go to Ebenezer Baptist, but you beefing with First Baptist. That's madness, man. You beefing with First Baptist because they pastor got a better car than your pastor.
Methodist Church.
Yeah, Methodist Church.
That's
Right? Yeah, man. Just a lot of hatred and madness is going on with the Israelites, man. Right? The ones that know what's going on and the ones that don't even know what's going on. Madness. These curses would have brought you low. Real quick, go jump to verse 54.
Verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you,
Right?
and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother.
Hey, you can't run from these curses that the Lord told us what would happen to us. You black, Hispanic, and Native American men, you're not running from it, man. No matter if you think that you have a high upper echelons in the society or not. And you could work for the top company in so-called America, and guess what? You're still gonna be under the curses, right? Because you may be the CEO of the company, right? But guess what? Another company and his CEO, y'all may have beef with each other or conflict, right? Or you may think that you're the top pastor in America, Bishop T.D. Jakes, right? But he's beefing with another pastor.
Creflo Dollar.
Yeah, Creflo Dollar. That's madness, man.
Right.
Right? That's evil and that's wicked, man. And we pray that the Lord lift that curse up off our people, man. That's one of the most rigorous curses that's on our people. Hatred towards one another, right? Or you and a brother, you know, y'all have different understandings of the scripture, but now y'all can't get along, right? You don't want to shalom the brother or peace be unto him, and you know, you can't have civil discourse because you believe one scripture is saying this, and you know that brother, you know, now you're putting all manner of curses on the brother, right? The Lord go kill that nigga, man.
Yeah.
Right? We got the 100% truth, right? Hey, that's madness, man. Right? So we fell for the love for our people, man. We don't love each other, man. Right? We don't love each other. We hate each other, right? So the Lord told us in Lamentations 2:1 that we would be brought down to a lower state, right? And that lower state would be here on the earth, which is another heaven, right? Real quick, let's go to 1 Chronicles chapter 28 and verse 5. All right. 1 Chronicles chapter 28 and verse 5.
1 Chronicles chapter 28 and verse 5. It reads, and all of my sons For the Lord hath given me many sons. He hath chosen Solomon, my son, to sit upon the throne of the kingdom of Israel, of the kingdom of the Lord over Israel.
Over what?
Over Israel.
So the kingdom of the Lord was given to Solomon. Now, did Solomon go up and form into the third heaven? Did he have the kingdom of the Lord where the third heaven, where the Most High dwell at? No, he had the kingdom of the Lord on the earth, right? Solomon was very rich, right? People from other nations, they was coming to hear his knowledge and the things that he knew and the things that his father David taught him. So the kingdom of heaven is on the earth. That's why the Lord said the kingdom of heaven is within you, right? Real quick, go to the book of Matthew chapter 11 and verse 12.
Book of Matthew chapter 11 and verse 12. And it reads, and from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence.
The Lord said, unto the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, right? Is that talking about, up in the third heaven where the Lord dwell at? You got the Moabites and the Edomites
fighting.
Yeah, they put the aircrafts and they went up to the third heaven and they jump in the Lord, right? They put the Lord in the full Nelson and the angels. No, man. Right? Yeah, that's not what it's talking about. They don't got the Lord in the headlock or the angels up there, right? It's order in the third heavens, right? And we're supposed to be mirroring what's in the third heavens on the earth, right? So it said the kingdom of heaven suffers violence, read.
And the violent take it by force.
So that's talking about, kind of bring it out. Now, that's talking about when the Israelites were subdued by our enemies. We were taken by force, we were taken captive, and we were taken violently by who? The Romans. When? In 70 AD, right? When our kingdom was sieged by the Romans, and we were persecuted by the Romans. And what happened to it? We dispersed throughout different parts of the earth, right? And then when we came to America, we were sieged again, right? Sold into captivity, off in Alabama, Florida, North Carolina, right? Where else? Virginia,
Islands,
everywhere, man.
Yeah,
raped, robbed, murdered, abused, right? Now we're just suffering the effects of those atrocities, right? They're still lingering around, right? So the kingdom of heaven suffered violence, but the Lord said we're gonna take it back, right? Let's get the book of 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 6. Oh, kind of bring it out real quick.
Luke 21, 17. Luke 17, verse 21. Neither shall they say, lo here, or lo there, for behold, the kingdom of God is within you.
See that? The kingdom of God is within you, right? Now, get Matthew chapter 6, right? About the prayer. The Lord said the kingdom of heaven is within you, right? Anybody on this call, you suffering, you going through, not this call, but this live, right? You going through affliction, you feel like, you want to find identity of self, you're trying to find knowledge and wisdom, but it's, you haven't found it, right? Or you may be struggling with demons and persecution, right? Job, affliction, etc. The Lord said, you already have the kingdom, man. It's within you. And the Lord said, listen, I want to give my little children. He said, fear not, little flock. And Luke, he said, I would love to give you the kingdom of heaven, right? So the kingdom of heaven is within you, right? So bring it out. Matthew chapter 6 and verse
The book of Matthew chapter 6, verse 9.
Right now, everybody know this prayer, right? Let's see what the Lord said.
The book of Matthew chapter 6, verse 9. After this manner, therefore, pray ye, our Father, which art in heaven,
which art in the third heaven,
hallowed be thy name,
right?
Thy kingdom come.
Our kingdom of heaven is coming. Read.
Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven.
He said, thy will be done where?
Thy will be done in earth.
In earth.
As it is in heaven.
So the kingdom of heaven is coming to the earth, to the children of Israel, brought back to kings and priests and the natural order that the Lord prescribed from the foundation of the earth, right? Bring it out.
The book of Revelation, chapter 21, verse 1. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth.
A new kingdom, right? A new rulership. Read.
For the first heaven and the first earth was passed away.
So did the Lord just give up his position in the heavens? Right? He kind of said, you know, I want something new, right? Let's just have a second one. No, man. This new earth is on the earth. I mean, this new heaven is on the earth, right? Read on.
And there was no more sea.
And there was no more sea, no more rulership of the so-called white man's rulership. Read.
And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven.
Coming down from the Most High out of where?
Out of heaven.
Right?
Prepared as a bride adorned for her husband.
Right? You see that? So we're going to be made new, right? And we're going to have different spirits and a new mindset, man. That's what we need. We need a whole, the Lord just need to just filter us all out, right? Because a lot of our people, you know, they're hearing this word and they can't get down with it. You know, how can the Lord hate so-called white people? How can he do that? Hey, you don't know the mind of the Lord, man. They can't get down with the truth of this Bible. So the Lord is going to have to kill a lot of people, right? And just restore us wholly. Because that new heaven and that new earth is coming, right? So it's best that you get ready for it, man.
Right? Say something. If the Most High wanted us equal, he'd have made us all alike. So we're not all alike, so therefore there's no equality.
That's right.
They see that, so why can't we?
That's right. Real quick, get the additions to Esther chapter 10 and verse 10. Right? Additions to Esther chapter 10 and verse 10. To let me back off what the brother said. A lot of people think that everybody, you know, you got an equal shot at this thing. You know, the Lord is about equality. You know, the Lord is, you know, hey, the Lord is not about that, man. Right? Let's see what the Lord said.
To Esther chapter 10 and verse 10. Therefore hath he made two lots.
The Lord made two lots. Right? Can you get sheep from the goats? Matthew 12. Right, read that again.
Therefore hath he made two lots.
Right.
One for the people of God, and another for all the Gentiles.
See that's a straight cut. The Lord said he made two lots, one for the people of God and one for the Gentiles. You can also read about that in Romans the 9th chapter, right? About how the Lord only chose the children of Israel to be his chosen people. If you don't come from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you are not a child of God. Check that out in Romans the 9th chapter, from verse 7 on down. Right? Read that again.
The book of Salakia, the rest of the chapters of the book of Esther and the Apocrypha, chapter 10 and verse 10.
Read.
Therefore hath he made two lots.
Right.
One for the people of God, and another for all the Gentiles.
And another for all the Gentiles. Read.
And the two lots came at the hour and time and day of judgment before the Most High among all nations.
You see that? So the Lord has two lots, man. Right? And it also tell you that in Romans the 9th chapter 2, one vessel to honor and another to dishonor. Talking about Jacob and Esau. So the Lord didn't create everybody the same. Right? Get that in Deuteronomy real quick. Deuteronomy chapter 32.
Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 7. Remember the days of old.
It's like verse 32.
Consider the years of many generations.
Something in 32.
Yeah.
Ask thy father, and he will show thee.
Can I read that again?
Deuteronomy 32 and 7. Remember the days of old.
Right.
Consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee. Thy elders, and they will tell thee.
Right.
Verse 8. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance. When he separated.
He did what?
He separated.
The Lord divided people, and then he separated them. Right? Read.
The sons of Adam.
The sons of Adam.
He set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel.
See that? That's why, you know, you are the most dominant on the earth, man. Right? You're the most dominant so-called species on the earth, right? That's what the so-called white man calls it, a species, right? But we're the Israelites, man. We're the princes of the power with God, right? That's why you lead in sports and athletics, and you all indoctrinated. Yeah, everything. You got the most inventions because the Lord severed you from other people. Tell you that in the book of Leviticus, right? The 20 something chapter, right? So you're different. right? There's no equality. All right, that's not in the Bible. So, that's the fourth heaven. You got precept? Yeah, can't bring it out.
The book of Matthew, chapter 25, verse 32.
Right?
And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another,
Right?
as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats.
See that? And who were the sheep? I know Brother Doc got it. Right? The Lord, he separated the sheep from the goats. When the Lord comes back, he's coming back to separate people. Right? Because the book of Isaiah tells you that we're going to have a new government. A new government is going to be set up on the earth, right? And the headmaster is going to be Yahushua, right? Who the world calls Jesus Christ, right? And he's going to have his people in order and get in the rest of the earth in order also. So let's see what the Lord said, who the sheep are.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, verse 17. Israel is a scattered sheep.
Well, that's it, right? Israel is a scattered sheep. Yeah, Israel is the sheep, right? We're the lost sheep of the house of Israel, right? Various chapters to tell you that, right?
Verse 6. My people have been lost sheep.
See that? But guess what? We're now finding ourselves in these last days, right? So again, you have four heavens. In order for you to understand hell, you have to understand heaven. There's four heavens, right? First heaven is where? In the sky, where the fowls dwell at, right? Where the clouds are, right? The second is where? Your so-called outer space, right? Your third is where? In the third heaven, man, where the Most High dwells at. Where's the fourth heaven? Where you're walking at, the land that's defiled, right? So this land has to be cleansed, man, right? Where you're dwelling at, where you're standing at is the fourth heaven, right? So real quick, you got precept. Give me the book of Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 12 and verse 22. All right. Deuteronomy 32 and 22.
Book of Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 22.
All right. Again, where is hell? Where do you go when you die? Right? Is it underground? Is Satan there with a pitchfork? You know, what's going on? Right? Let's figure this thing out. Right? Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 22.
For a fire is kindled in mine anger, and shall burn unto the lowest hell.
Unto the where?
Unto the lowest hell.
Right?
And shall consume the earth with her increase.
Now, just like there's different heavens, there's different hells. You have to understand what the word hell means, right? Chiefly when you read hell in the Bible, it's going into the grave, right? Which is the Hebrew word. Some scholars would say Sheol, right? Or, you know, we would pronounce it Shawa'al, right? Now, that's the grave, right? The grave is what? The soil, right? Underground. Now, real quick, read that again.
Deuteronomy 32 and 22.
Right?
For a fire is kindled in mine anger, and shall burn unto the lowest hell.
Right?
And shall consume the earth with her increase.
Now, Moses said this is the lowest hell. Right? What does that mean? Right? He said, listen, this hell, this is the lowest hell. Right? So where Satan at, is there another part of hell under there? Is Satan down there with a pitchfork, and then it's another Satan down there, he's at his lowest hell, and he's, you know, if you the different levels of wickedness, right, you go to the lowest hell, right? You go down, and you know, this one has, you know, a thermostat of 1,000, you know, it's hot, and then the other one is way hotter,
3,000.
We had 3,000, right? Now you got 3 pitchforks picking on you, and you just burning for all it. That's not what it's talking about. That's not in the Bible, right? That is mythology, right? Hell, Greek mythology. Yeah. Hell is as real as Clifford and the Big Red Dog, right? Hell is as real as Bigfoot.
Barney.
Yeah, Barney. Sasquatch, man. Yeah. Right? Hey, when they talk about hell underground with a pitchfork, that's talking about Sasquatch, man. It's not real. It's not real. Right? It's not in there, man. Right? Now, the grave. Let's go to the book of Psalms, right? Chapter 16.
After you read that, I gotta read that.
Kind.
Psalm 16.
Kind. Psalm 16 and 10.
And verse 10.
Right? Psalm, the book of Psalms, chapter 16 and verse 10. Kind of bring it up.
For thou wilt not leave my soul in hell,
Right?
neither wilt thou suffer thine Holy One to see corruption. Thou wilt show me the path of life.
Right. Read that again. Psalm 16 and 10.
Psalm 16 and 10. For thou wilt not leave my soul in hell.
Thou will not lead my soul in hell. Now remember in the book of Luke, right, 24, the Lord told us that Moses prophesied about him, right, in the law, in the prophets, and in the Psalms. So what we're reading is Psalm 16. This is Moses prophesying about the Lord, right, Yahweh Shai, Jesus the Christ, right? He said, thou will not lead my soul into hell.
Neither wilt thou suffer thine Holy One to see corruption.
Thine Holy One is who? Yahweh Shai, right? They wouldn't leave his soul in the grave, right? Because he was taken out, right? After the elect amount of time that he was supposed to be in the grave, right? Which is 3, which is a spiritual number for a number of completion, right? You got 3, you got 7, you got 10, you got 12, right? Those are all the numerology on the right-hand side. Now go to the book of Acts chapter 2 and verse 22 to prove that real quick, right? About the kind.
All right, just piggyback off of verse 10, Psalm 16:10. It's the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 4, verse 40 through 42. Verse 40. So he answered me and said, go thy way to a woman with child, and ask of her when she hath filled her 9 months, if wound may keep the birth any longer within her. Then said I, no, Lord, that can she not. And he said unto me, in the grave, the chambers of souls are like the womb of a woman. For like as a woman that travaileth maketh haste to escape the necessity of the travail, even so does these places haste to deliver those things that are committed unto thee. So therefore, it's telling you that even when you die, the earth can only hold you for so long. Because when babies are born, the woman could actually hold a baby after her time is due. So basically, when your body lays in the earth, your body got a certain amount of time before that actually decayed and took away.
That's right.
So that's what that makes reference to, just to show when he said, for thou shalt not leave my soul in hell, that goes to show you that regardless of whatever evil we die, our body won't be left there.
That's right. That's right. And the Gentiles, our oppressors, our enemies, that's what they want, man. They want us to decay and they want us to decease and die off, right? But the Most High God has a better plan for us, which is in the Bible, which your pastors did not explain to us correctly. So to land me back off of that, Acts chapter 2 and verse 22.
Book of Acts chapter 2 and verse 22.
Right?
Ye men of Israel, hear these words.
Ye men of Israel, hear these words, talking about how salvation is coming to us, right? Salvation is coming to you, so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American men that were carried to Egypt to be merchants, right? Read on.
Yahweh Shai of Nazareth,
Right?
a man approved of the Most High among you by miracles and wonders and signs, which the Most High did by him in the midst of you, as ye yourselves also know.
Because the Lord came out of that grave after 3 days and 3 nights. A lot of you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, you think that, you're not going to get out of this condition that we in, where we just slaves and we just got to obey master white man, right? No, man, right? Hey, the Lord going to raise us up, man, on the 3rd day, man. And guess what? Yeah, we in that time, right? You living in that time right now, right? So read that again.
Acts 2 and 22. Ye men of Israel, hear these words. Yahweh Shai of Nazareth, a man approved of God among you by miracles and wonders and signs, which the Most High did by him in the midst of you, as ye yourselves also know.
As ye yourselves also know, because the elect was there and we saw it, right? Read on.
Him being delivered by the determinate counsel and foreknowledge of the Most High, ye have taken and by wicked hands have crucified and slain.
Wicked hands is talking about the Romans, right? Today you call them what?
Americans.
Yeah, you call them Americans,
White
right? So-called white men, right? You call them so-called Italian men. These are the chief ones who crucified the Lord, right? Read on.
Whom the Most High hath raised up, having loosed the pains of death, because it was not possible that he should be holden of it.
Right?
For David speaketh concerning him.
Because it would have been a wicked thing if his body was to lay in the grave for more than 3 days and 3 nights, right? If it was for 4 days, guess what? That would have been off and that would have been wicked. His body would have decayed, right? But it happened in the time manner that the Most High God elected for it to happen, right? Read on.
Like, I foresaw the Lord always before my face, but he is on my right hand, that I should not be moved.
Right? Because David spoke of these things in Psalms chapter 16, right? Now, go to the book of Amos 9:1, right? The book of Amos chapter 9 and verse 1.
Book of Amos, chapter 9 and verse 1. I
Right.
saw the Lord standing upon the altar, and he said, smite the lintel of the door, that the posts may shake, and cut them in the head, all of them. And I will slay the last of them with the sword. He that fleeth of them shall not flee away, and he that escapeth of them shall not be delivered.
Right?
Though they dig into hell,
Though they dig into hell, right? The first verse is talking about the Lord, the destruction, how he's going to kill a lot of people. Like I tell you in Zechariah, right? 2/3 is going to be cut off. All of the wicked is going to perish, right? It says, though they dig into hell,
thence shall mine hand take them.
now them digging into hell is talking about the soil, right? You have the so-called white man trying to build bunkers under the soil, right? They have underground homes with this high technology of you know things under the ground where they're gonna try to survive World War III, Armageddon, and all of the destruction that the Lord has prophesied in the scriptures. These people know so-called end time prophecy, so they've been preparing for this for decades, right? That's why certain places you want to drive and they go, it's blocked off, can't go that way. You got to go this way, right? And you say, well, I got to go this way, right? You don't think, you're not putting no thought into what's going on, right? You just following, you just going through the motions. But guess what? That way, if you were to go that way, hey, they're gonna catch you, man. They're gonna say, hey, you can't come this way, right? We got some things going on over here, right? What are they doing? They're planning for World War III, Armageddon, destruction, right? Read on.
Though they climb up to heaven, thence will I bring them down.
Right, the Lord said, thence will he bring them down, man. They try to go up into the third heavens all the time, right? They have a space for. What do you need a space force for? Really? A space force?
They call themselves the Guardians of the Galaxy, man.
The Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
See, I ain't heard that one, man. That's a new
The
one.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
The Guardians. So what are they trying to guard from? They're trying to. They are trying to stop the new world that the Lord is coming back to establish on the earth, and they want to establish their wickedness, and they want their kingdom to dwell forever. But guess what? It's not gonna happen.
That's what I seen the other day. They talking about building a new Tower of Babel.
See that? That's madness.
Hey, do y'all ever heard of the Edomite named Elon Musk?
Yes.
Okay. Elon Musk did an interview, I want to say not too long ago, maybe something for like the past year or so. And it's you can look it up on YouTube. It's known as the Dark Ages. Okay. Pretty much he said he's willing to spend his whole fortune to get up out of here. So basically I want to say by the end of this year, he's trying to be up out of the earth. He's trying to go to a new planet.
That's
I
right.
guess he's trying to plan to go to Mars or so forth. He's going to spend his whole fortune. He's almost almost $200 billion, something in that range.
Mhm.
He's trying to spend all that just to get away from here because he know what's coming. He know the prophecy.
That's
That's
right.
why he know that like the Dark Ages basically is black people in rulership. That's what Dark Ages was.
Mhm.
So he said there's basically it's another chance of another dark ages. So he just trying to get up out of him and the rest of the elites, the I guess the Rockefellers and so forth and that nature. Those families and everything. They trying to, because they're the only ones who can afford that trip, that ride. So you know, everybody else, you just young, you know, pretty much.
That's right.
Pretty much.
Hey, why do you think the Lord said that people will wail and lament when he comes, man? Hey, that's because they know that everything that they did to you guys, chosen people, they know they gotta pay for it, man.
That's right.
They haven't been punished for the things that they did, man. The castration, man. All of the hanging on the trees,
Yep.
right? All of the taking the man and buck breaking them in front of his children, his wife, man, right? Hey, they gotta pay for that, man.
That's
Right? Real quick, give me Nahum chapter 1, man. Right? I'm getting excited, man. Right? Nahum chapter 1 and verse 2.
The book of Nahum, chapter 1, verse 2.
Right?
God is jealous.
God is what?
God is jealous.
Hey, the Most High God is jealous, man. He see these people on the earth. He see their inventions. He think, you know, they kind of have, you know, you have something called Illuminati, right? People kind of think that people in the music industry are part of. Hey, Jay-Z is not part of the Illuminati, right? This is a secret society where top elites, right, where they come together and they have plans to take down the Lord, man. Right? You can read about that in Revelation 12, right? You can read, Revelation chapter 20, right? Revelation chapter 9, right? All throughout the scriptures about these wicked men that are going to try to fight against the Lord. Now, yeah. So the Lord said that he's jealous about these things and he sees it all, right? Read on.
And the Lord revengeth.
Right?
And the Lord revengeth and is furious. The Lord will take vengeance on his adversaries.
See that? The Lord will take vengeance on his adversaries, man. Right? A lot of people didn't think that Egypt will fall with Pharaoh, that vast empire. Like, well, you know, hey, it's gonna last forever. Hey, nothing lasts forever, man. Right? Hey, the Lord said by wickedness, one kingdom is translated into another. Real quick, get that in Ecclesiastes chapter 10. Right? By riches and evil and wicked deceit, for one kingdom is translated to the other. Right? Ecclesiastes chapter 10, Sirach chapter 10 and verse 8. Right? Sirach chapter 10 and verse 8.
Sirach, the Apocrypha chapter 10 and verse 8. And it reads, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries,
right,
and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another.
See that? The kingdom is going to be translated from one people to the other. And the Lord is coming to destroy this wicked kingdom and the powers that be and do what? Give it to his chosen. Right? Kind. Bring it out. Hey, bring it out, man.
The precept of Book of Psalms, chapter 52, verse 7. Lo, this is the man that made not God his strength, but trusted in the abundance of his riches, and strengthened himself in his wickedness.
See that? Hey, that's a cut. You want to break it down?
Well, pretty much the man he's making reference to a man in rulership, because when you're in rulership, pretty much they don't depend on the Most High. They depend on their wealth. So that's what they trusted in. And you look in today's time, they trust in that money instead of putting trust in the Most High. And like they say, the root of evil, the love of money is the root of all evil. Not having money, but the love of money. So therefore, when you're rich, you basically that's money in today's time, and they strengthen himself in his wickedness. So that's how they carry themselves in today's manner. They rich, the ones who's filthy rich. So far, you could behind closed doors, they real wicked.
Right.
They are the wicked that they are of the wicked. Put it that
That's
way.
right. That's right, man. That's why you have private islands, man, that you can't go to. Where all of the missing children at, man? Right? And the thousands of missing women.
Why is everything a secret?
Yeah, everything got to be a secret, man. Right? Why do they show you the same thing on the news every day? Right? They're not breaking the secret things because they're hiding stuff.
Right.
What are they hiding? The things that they do in secret. And the Lord said, hey, nothing in secret will not be revealed.
That's right.
This man of sin has to be revealed, like it tells us in Second Thessalonians, right? So you got some precept.
Shoot.
Got it, brother. Doc.
In the
Yeah.
world.
God.
The book of Second Ezra,
Mm.
in the Apocrypha, chapter 6, verse 9.
Mhm.
For Esau is the end of the world, and is the beginning of it that followeth.
See that? Clean cut. Esau, right? Meaning wasted away is he. No melanin. He's the end of the world. And Jacob, you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? Hey, guess what? This is your earth, man. And it was given to you. All you got to do is get your spirit right, right? All you got to do is pray fast, stop eating shrimp, pork, crab, and lobster, right? Keep the commandments, right? You got a precept?
Yeah, I got to precept. Let's back off what he said. No secret places. God knows everything.
That's right.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 23, verse 19.
Good precept. Bring it up.
Such a man only feareth the eyes of men, and knoweth not that the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun.
Now, who are these eyes that are 10,000 times bright? Hey, the Lord got spies, man.
Yeah.
Who are those spies? The angels.
The angels.
Right? They see
Yep.
everything, man.
Yep.
Right? That's why they have a so-called space force, and we've got to watch out for the UFOs, and we got to kind of see what they're doing, and etc. Right? And guess what? The Lord watching you, man.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? Hey, so you can't hide your sins, man.
No.
Right? And you Israelites, anything that you're dealing with, hey, give it to the Lord, man. Right? So,
I got a precept.
bring it out.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 15 and verse 3. The eyes of the Lord are in every place,
That's right.
beholding the evil and the good.
Mm-hmm.
That's it on that.
That's another. It's one. That's another one in Hosea chapter 4 and verse 13. All right, but we're gonna move on, right? So, where is we at? Right, we were at Amos 9, right? All right, let's go to 2 Samuel. All right, let's go to the book of 2 Samuel. All right, 2 Samuel chapter 22 and 6.
In Samuel, chapter 22 and verse 6. The sorrows of hell compassed me about. The snares of death prevented me. In my distress, I called upon the Lord and cried to my God.
Right, read that again.
Starting from 6.
Con.
2 Samuel 22 and 6. The sorrows of hell compassed me about.
All right,
The snares of death prevented me. In my distress.
in my distress. So he was distressed. So the reason that he was in hell wasn't because he was down there with the spiritual demon Satan getting his back poked in with a red fork. It's because he was distressed, man. He was oppressed, right? He was dealing with depression, right? He was dealing with being oppressed on your job, the afflictions of having to work for your enemy, right? Read.
The snares of death prevented me. In my distress, I called upon the Lord.
He called upon the Lord as those things were happening. He was in hell calling on the Lord, right? So that's what's going on, man. You're not down there under the earth, right? Calling on, hey, Lord, I'm tired of being burnt forever, right? Hey, you on hell right now, man, right? You living in hell, man, right? Your great grandma was saying, well, hey, Sunday, you go to Sunday church, right? Or else you're going to burn forever in hell. And guess what? Your grandma was burning in hell at that moment, man, right? She was eating that shrimp and pork and crab and all that madness, right? Burning in hell, right? Because she didn't know what was going on, right? So, hey, great grandma got to repent, man, right? And come to the truth. So, get another one. Get the book of Isaiah, chapter 5, verse 13. All right, Isaiah 5 and 13. So we let you know that hell is not what this society taught you, where it's underground, right? That's not what's going on, right? Isaiah 5 and 13.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 5 and verse 13. Therefore, my people are gone into captivity because they have no knowledge.
Because they what?
They have no knowledge.
Right?
And their honorable men are famished, and their multitude dried up with thirst.
Right?
Therefore, hell.
Therefore, what?
Therefore, hell hath enlarged herself.
So The Lord is speaking to the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans. You went into slavery because you didn't keep the commandments. Therefore, hell enlarged itself. Therefore, you being brought over on a slave ship enlarged itself. Real quick, get the book of Psalms, right? Chapter 107, right? About the hell enlarging itself. My people went into captivity because of their transgressions. Now hell has enlarged itself, right? Psalms chapter 107 and start at verse 10. Psalms 107 and
The
10.
book of Psalms, chapter 107, verse 10. Such as sit in darkness and in the shadow of death.
The shadow of death is hell, right? Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, right? You're walking through hell, right? Every time you go outside, you kind of got to, crank your car up and you kind of got to wait for it to warm up. Got to be at work at 7 o'clock, you on your second strike, you're about to get fired. You also on unemployment, right? Because you was quarantined, food stamps, right?
Yeah.
Hey, you got a little bit of juices for your kids, you got you got a few loaves of bread left, right? You got 2 packs, you got 1 pack of Kool-Aid. You gotta make half of the Kool-Aid, the gallon. You can't put it to the top or it's gonna be watery, right? Guess what, man? You're in hell, right? Read that again. Psalms 107 and 10.
The book of Psalms, chapter 107, verse 10. Such as sit in darkness and in the shadow of death, being bound in affliction and iron.
Bound in affliction is iron is slavery, right? Atlantic slave trade, sub-Saharan slave trade, Silk Road slave trade. Read on.
Because they rebelled against the words of God.
Because you didn't want to do what Moses said. You wanted to listen to your pastor and said that the laws of God are done away with, right? Hey, if the pastors told us that we had to keep the command, hey, we'd have been out of here 50 years ago, man. We'd have been in Jerusalem, man, right? Sipping on some wine, eating grapes, singing all manner of righteous songs, having some fly garments on
with a rod of iron.
With a rod of iron.
Edomites.
Yeah, man. Gold's paid.
Gold paid the road.
Yeah, gold paid robes. Yeah, man. Playing with lions, chariots. Right, flying on chariots, man. Hey, we're not driving no Porsches in the kingdom, man.
Nah.
Right, not having a Mercedes Benz, a Dodge
chariot.
Charger. Yeah, man, get on the chariot, man. Right, going to Brother Doc's land, right, where he's owning the Moabites. Right, Brother Raphael, man. He has 12,000 Edomite slaves, man. Right, the land of Brother Joel, man, where he got the Edomites. He got the Japhites. Hey, he getting it down, man. So, hey, that's what we want to do, man, right? We're getting out of this hell and entering inside of our new spirits, our new mind to go to heaven.
That's right.
Right? So, go back to 2 Samuel, right? And finish that one.
The book of 2 Samuel, chapter
22 and verse 6.
And verse 6.
We might have to do a part 2 on this, man. Right? We might have to do a part 2. Right? Bring it out.
Oh, it's like 2 Samuel 22 and 6. And it reads, the sorrows of hell compassed me about. The snares of death prevented me.
John?
In my distress, I called upon the Lord and cried to my God.
Right?
And he did hear my voice out of his temple. And my cry did enter into his ears.
Now, go to Jonah, right? Because Jonah said the same thing, right? Let's go to the book of Jonah.
The one I wanted to get.
Right, you got it?
Yeah, I got it.
And it's more too. We got some more accounts. Right, we're gonna bring up all of the accounts through the Spirit and power of the Most High.
The book of Jonah, chapter 2, verse 2, and said, I cried by reason of mine affliction.
By reason of mine affliction, read
unto the Lord, and he heard me out of the belly of hell.
Right, he was in the belly of hell, man. Right, he was literally in the belly, right, of an animal. Right, you see that? And it probably stunk in there, man. Probably stunk.
Right.
Right. It was, it's probably all manner of other unclean animals in there.
Yeah, not a lot of air.
Yeah, air. You couldn't breathe. Right. Hey, couldn't breathe, man. What does that sound like? Right. George Floyd, man, he was in hell down there, man. He couldn't breathe. right? So we in hell, man. We can't breathe, man. They got masks on your face. You in hell, man. Right? Hey, you can't go into the store unless you got a mask on. Right? Hey, that's hell, man. So guess what? The whole earth is in hell, man. You know, and you can read about that in Isaiah the 2nd chapter, right?
I want to bring out something.
Can
Can we go back to Lamentations chapter 2, verse 1? You know, I'm gonna bring this back out. This is my Lamentations chapter 2, verse 1. You can read it.
The book of Lamentations, chapter 2, verse 1. How hath the Lord covered the daughter of Zion with a cloud in his anger?
Now that cloud he covered us in is a gray cloud, because we was in a white cloud, a bright cloud. So basically, he covered us with a gray cloud. You know, in that gray cloud, you know, you get thunderstorms, you get rain, like all type of manna come in that gray cloud. Come on,
And cast down from heaven.
and cast us down from where?
And cast down from heaven.
So that goes to show you that we no longer is in our glorious state. We in hell right now. When he cast us down from heaven, we fell to hell. So right now, that's the condition that the whole nation of Israel is in. We in hell right now. Okay, come on.
Unto the earth, the beauty of Israel.
So right now, we ugly right now to the Most High. He stripped us from our power, from our garments. He stripped us from everything. So right now, in the eyes of the Most High, we are ugly right now. That's how he's looking at us. Okay, come on.
And remember not his footstool in the day of his anger.
He stripped us from everything. Everything. That's why we in the condition we're in. And that's why he put us in this punishment. So therefore, to get out of this punishment, we have to repent. We have to repent. The whole nation have to repent. Have to return from our wicked ways, from being stiff-necked, hard-headed, being stupid children, sottish children, to return back to the ways of the Most High. That's the only way we're going to turn back to our glorious state, returning back to that heavenly state that we was in.
Come.
Right, that's all I want, brother.
All praises. All praises. So, we good. All praises. So go to the book. Also, to let me back off of that, go to Isaiah chapter 28 and verse 14.
Book of Isaiah chapter 28 and verse 14.
Isaiah chapter 28 and verse 14.
Wherefore hear the word of the Lord, ye scornful men
Right?
that rule this people which is in Jerusalem,
Right?
because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death
Right? Because ye have said we made a covenant with death, read.
and with hell,
And with what?
and with hell.
Now, this is talking about the leaders of our people, right? That had erred our people in their way and their understanding. We made a covenant with death and hell, right? Because through sin is what? What's the wages of sin? Death. And through that you have hell on the earth, right? So real quick, let's go to the book of Revelations where people get twisted up at. Revelations chapter 20. Right, good segue through the spirit. Revelations chapter 20 and go to verse 13.
Revelation 20 and 13. And the sea gave up the dead
Revelations 20 and
which were in it.
That's what I want.
And death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them.
Salakia, start at verse 12.
Verse 12.
Start at verse 12.
And I saw the dead, and small and great, stand before God.
Right?
And the books were opened. And another book was opened, which is the book of life.
Right?
And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books,
Right?
according to their works.
According to their works, they were judged. Right? Read on.
And the sea gave up the dead,
And the sea gave up the dead,
which were in it.
right?
And death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them.
Right?
And they were judged, every man according to their works.
Right? Read on.
And death and hell
Death and hell.
were cast into the lake of fire.
So underground, right? Is death and hell Death and hell, they're underground with Satan. You know, is that what it's talking about? No, that's not what it's talking about, man. Right? Death and hell was cast into the lake of fire. Where is the lake of fire at? You have to know where the lake of fire is in order to know what the death and the hell is. Right? Real quick, get Isaiah 13:19.
Book of
Isaiah
Isaiah,
chapter 13 and verse 19.
chapter 13 and verse 19.
Right?
And Babylon,
And who?
and Babylon,
Babylon.
the glory of kingdoms.
Now, Babylon is the name for America, right? Babylon goes back to the word Babal, which means confusion, right? The city where you can come, you can do everything, all of your dreams can be made manifest here in Babylon, which is America. It said in Babylon,
the glory of kingdoms,
right?
the beauty of the Chaldees' excellence shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah.
The Lord said America is going to be as the Lord did Sodom and Gomorrah. What happened to Sodom and Gomorrah?
Fire and brimstone.
Fire and brimstone. So this place, Babylon, is going to be as the Lord did Sodom and Gomorrah. Fire and brimstone. That's your lake of fire, right? This is where this place is going to be destroyed by intercontinental ballistic missiles and the angels that zap down fire and brimstone, right? Read on. Verse 20.
It shall never be inhabited.
The Lord said, this place is going to be so destroyed that it shall never be inhabited. That's what God said. You're not going to be able to come back to America. It shall never be inhabited. So in order for you to know what death and hell is, you have to know what the lake of fire is or where the lake of fire is, right? Read that again.
It shall never be inhabited.
It shall never be inhabited. Read.
Neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation.
The Lord said, hey, listen, you're not gonna be able to come to America, right? When we in the kingdom of heaven and we're on our chariots, right? Hey, you're gonna be riding the chariot with your grandson, right? With your son to say, hey, look, that was Babylon the Great, right? Hey, we sacrificed our life for you to have everlasting life in the kingdom of heaven, right? That place right there,
Wicked.
Guess what? You don't even know about that place, man. Right? You gonna say, son, look at me in my eyes. We did this for you. This is the kingdom of heaven. Say, and guess what? We're going to the Passover. We're gonna see Yahushua. Right? And guess what? We're gonna have a good time, man. Right? Because we escaped that death, man. Right? We escaped that great city, Babylon the Great, where we were made merchants and slaves and handmaids and nigger men and nigger. Right? The Lord said it shall never be inhabited. Real quick, go to Isaiah chapter 34. Right? Isaiah 34 and 13. Right? Isaiah 34 and 13.
Chapter 34 and verse 13.
So America, all of you people that want to stay in America and you want to, you got businesses invested here, and you getting into real estate, you're buying land, and this is my land and I own it. Guess what? You don't own it. Right? And the Lord is going to destroy this place, man. And you're going to never be able to come here again. Right? People can't go to Sodom and Gomorrah. Hey, look up Sodom and Gomorrah, man. They're finding different sulfur and different elements to where they say, hey, this
radiation over there too.
Different. Yeah, the radiation is bad. They say, hey, this is not from Earth. Those scientists that go to that landmass to Sodom and Gomorrah, right? It's different molecules and rocks. Guess what? They're still on fire, man. Still on fire right now to this day, right? And they hide it. You don't hear about Sodom and Gomorrah. Oh, where we're going to the land of Sodom and Gomorrah. Right. You don't hear that on the news. They hide it from you, right? So that you don't bethink yourself and remember the works of the Lord, right? Bring it out.
Book of Isaiah chapter 34 and verse 13. And thorns shall come up in her palaces,
right?
Nettles and brambles in the fortresses thereof. And it shall be an habitation of dragons.
Of who?
Of dragons.
It shall be inhabited by dragons. Read on.
And a court for owls.
And a court. This place is going to be so destroyed that, hey, the Lord is going to have a feast, right? The animals got to eat too, right? The same way that the Lord feeds you, he feeds the animals. Now, who's going to eat off Babylon? The animals, the dragons, and the fowls of the air, right? Read on.
The wild beast of the desert shall also meet with the wild beast of the island, and the satyr shall cry to his fellow,
right?
And screech at Salakia, the screech owl also shall rest there, and find for herself a place of rest.
A place of rest, right? Because this place is going to be totally annihilated, utterly destroyed off the face of the earth, and nobody's going to be able to live here anymore, right? So that's the lake of fire, right? All of the Americas, right, will never be inhabited by no man, right? Revelation 18:2, real quick.
Book of Revelation, chapter 18, and verse 2. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen,
Right?
is fallen,
Read.
and is become the habitation of devils.
It's the habitation of devils, right? You see that? It's the habitation of devils, right? And it's twofold because right now they own this, right? You don't own anything, they possess it, right? We don't have nothing over here, right? Real quick, go to the book of Isaiah 14:12, right? Isaiah 14:12.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, and verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer,
Right?
son of the morning?
Now, a lot of chiefly Christianity, they think that Satan, the spiritual demon Satan, fell from heaven and he was kicked down into hell. That's not what it's talking about. Neither is it talking about in Ezekiel 28. Lucifer is not talking about the spiritual demon Satan, right? This Lucifer that it's talking about is America, the so-called white man. That's what it's talking about, right? Jump to verse where it says Babylon, king of Babylon. Jump to verse 4.
Verse 4. Thou shalt shake, Salakia, thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon,
Right?
and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased.
The golden city. Now he's talking about the king of Babylon, right? That king of Babylon, that spirit inside of those ancient Babylonians came back inside of the spirit of America, right? Now jump to verse 14.
Verse 14. Our will of sin.
Verse 12.
Verse 12. How art thou fallen, O from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning?
Right?
How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nation?
He cut him down because the Lord is going to destroy America, right? Real quick, get 1 Samuel chapter 2 and verse 6. Now, the word Lucifer means light bearer. That's what it means. Kind of bring it out.
Yeah, I gotta get the preset off 14 verse 4, because you know it might be some new watchers watching, so let's get some understanding. Let's go to Psalms 137. Psalms 137, and we gotta let everyone know who this who we make a reference to when you hear modern Babylon. The same Babylon in Psalm 137 is the same Babylon that's in Revelations, what it make it talking about.
That's
also right. In Isaiah. Okay. This is Psalms 137. Read from verse 7 and 8. Give me 7 and 8. You can read verse 9 for some joy. But give me verse 7. Verse 7 first.
Yes. The book of Psalms chapter 137, verse 7. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom.
Children of who?
The children of Edom.
Edom. Come on.
In the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof.
Because they try to eliminate everything, our whole foundation. Race it. They want to take off our whole foundation. Come on.
O daughter of Babylon.
What?
O daughter of Babylon.
Edom is who?
O daughter of Babylon.
Edom is the daughter of Babylon. Come on.
Who are to be destroyed.
That's their prophecy. They will be destroyed. Who are to be destroyed.
That's right.
Who are to be destroyed. Come on.
Happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us.
Then when you later read the scriptures, he tell you that they're going to get double what they did to us. Everything double to what they did on us. So, okay, come on.
Happy shall he be.
Happy shall Israel be. Come on.
That taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones.
That's the good news. That's the gospel right there. That we're gonna find pleasure in that thing. See what I'm saying? Like you look at our brothers today they might look at it and have some remorse and like, nah, I don't want to do that. That's why the Most High say He gonna put His Spirit in us to do that.
That's right.
Okay, then we're gonna find pleasure in doing that thing. One more precept. Go to the book of Zechariah, chapter 6. Give me verse 6 and 7.
Bring it out.
Zechariah chapter 6 and verse 6. The
No,
black horses.
Zechariah chapter 2, verse 6 and 7.
Zechariah chapter 2, verse 6.
Uh-huh.
Ho, ho, come forth and flee from the land of the north.
He said, flee from the land of the north. What is this country known as? North America. North America. So the Most High knows exactly where we are. He put all this in here. He just had a set time for us to find the understanding to these scriptures. Now reread that again for me.
Ho, ho, come forth and flee from the land of the north,
North America, come on.
saith the Lord. For I have spread you abroad as the four winds of the heaven.
That's that precept of Deuteronomy 28:64. I will scatter you. See what I'm saying? Through the four corners of the earth. That's right there. He scattered us abroad to the four winds of the earth. Same thing, just different terminology. Come on.
Said the Lord, deliver thyself, O Zion,
Remember yourself, O Zion.
that dwellest with the daughter of Babylon.
So the Most High know that Israel is in the North America with Edom.
That's right.
All right. That's all I want, brother, to do.
Khan, all praises. And go back real quick on, got excited. Go back to Psalms 137 and verse 7 again.
The book of
Right,
Psalms
Psalms 137 7. And let me get First Ezra chapter 4
and verse 7.
verse 45.
Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom.
Right now, a lot of people, they will forget this. They want to kind of take this verse out of the Bible. Your pastor don't want to read this verse, but the Lord said, remember the children of Edom. Read.
In the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof.
586 BC, right? The so-called white man came and destroyed the so-called black man. And then it happened during different chronologies of time, right? Real quick, let's get the book of Second Chronicles, right? Real quick, about the so-called white man, right? You think that the so-called white man has just now, all right, well, let's put him in slavery, No, man, they've been doing this, right? Second Chronicles chapter 18, I think, and verse Second Chronicles chapter 28 and verse 17. Second Chronicles 28 and 17.
28 and 17. For again, the Edomites.
The who?
For again, the Edomites
Right?
had come and smitten Judah
And what?
and carried away captive.
And carried us away captive. Again, the Edomites smitten Judah and carried us away captive. Right? Go to the book of First Ezra, chapter 4 and verse 45.
The book of Second Ezra.
First Ezra.
First Ezra.
First Ezra chapter 4 verse 45. Now this was during one time period. This is another time period that they did this. Right? First Ezra chapter 4 and verse 45.
The book of Second Ezra.
First Ezra.
First, yeah. The book of First Ezra, chapter 4, verse 45. Thou also hast vowed to build up the temple which the Edomites burned when Judea was made desolate by the Chaldees.
You see that? What happened was the so-called white, they said, oh, you Africans, y'all got the Israelites, right? Let's burn their temple, right? And that's what happened, man. And they did that in different chronologies of time. They said, raise it, even to the foundation of destroy them, right? Hang them on the tree, right? Cut the baby out of their stomach, right?
Stomp on the baby.
Yeah, stomp on them, man. Give them smallpox, give them influenza, right? Yeah, feed them alligators. What the Tuskegee experiment,
man.
Right? Let's give them AIDS, right? Let's give them all manner of just pestilence, man.
And to piggyback off what Brother Ndor bringing out, because that's powerful what he's saying. Okay, that's why the Most High says, bring out Obadiah, because he get my blood. He get my blood pumping right now.
Bring it out.
You see what I'm saying? Get the book of Obadiah. This why he said this right here. Okay. Because I said these Edomites, they got to go. We there ain't no. I don't care if they pay your mortgage. They might buy you a house today. They got to go.
Right.
They got to go. Bring out Obadiah verse. Give me verse 18. Bring this out. Because what Brother Andor bringing out, that's heavy. That's powerful right there. That's powerful right there. Obadiah verse 18.
Can I read it? This is the book of Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 18. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble.
The stubble is that mess when after that fire and flame burns out, the ashes. That's what that is. That's that stubble. They the remains. That's what that is. Come on.
And they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau.
That's the good news. That's the gospel.
That's right.
That's why the Most High put that in there. They got to go. They got to die. They got to die. All this horror, this stuff like Brother Dor bringing up. They thrive off of putting us in slavery, beating us, watching our bloodshed, killing our babies, raping our women, hanging our brothers and so forth in that nature.
Yeah.
They got to go.
That's right.
They got to go. The Lord spoke that thing. He said there ain't gonna be no more remaining. They're gonna serve out their sentence, being slaves under us.
That's right.
Then he gonna wipe them out.
That's right.
Then it's gonna be like a nightmare. Us waking up from a nightmare. That's in Job.
That's right.
It's a lot.
They're gonna bring. That's gonna be a dream.
Just to add that on top of that, Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 18. Let them be confounded that persecute me.
That's right.
But let not me be confounded.
Right.
Let them be dismayed, but let not me be dismayed. Bring upon them the day of evil and destroy them with double destruction.
All praises.
That's
All
right.
praises to the Most High.
Clean precept.
Crush it.
Second Thessalonians chapter 1 and verse 6. Seeing it is a righteous thing with God to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you. And to you who are troubled, rest with us when the Lord Yahweh shall be revealed from heaven
Right.
with his mighty angels
Right.
and flaming fire, taking vengeance on them that know not the Most High and that obey not the gospel of our Lord Yahweh Hamashiach.
That's right. Real quick, get 1 Samuel chapter 2 and verse 6. Right? Because a lot of people are like, well, the Lord wouldn't do that, and what's going on, and sweet baby Jesus. And no, man. Right? We're not reading about that God, man. Right? The God we're reading about is the God that destroyed all of the Egyptians. The God that we're reading about is the God that killed everybody off the face of the earth and only left Noah and his sons.
Exodus 15.
He
verse
killed
3.
everybody, man.
He's the man of war.
That's right.
That's right. Overlooked. He's a man of war.
That's right, man. The God that he killed everybody on the earth, only left 8 people. That's the God that we're reading about, man. Did he kind of take
change?
man. Did he take a nap and say, well, that was me. I'm not gonna never do that again. No, the Lord said, I'm gonna do it again, but it's not gonna be by water.
Right.
Like this time it's gonna be by fire.
This is what we serve.
And that's what we're reading about. Right.
All praises.
So bring it out, King.
Book of 1 Samuel, chapter 2, verse 6.
Right.
The Lord killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up.
Right.
The Lord maketh poor and maketh rich.
Right. You see that? So the Lord killeth and he maketh alive. So you read in Isaiah the 14th chapter, it's talking about Lucifer, the light bearer is talking about America, right? How they came and they set themselves up. But the Lord is going to be victorious in the end. Right? You got a precept? Kind of bring it out.
Book of Psalms, chapter 139, verse 8.
Right?
If I ascend up into heaven, thou art there.
Right?
If I make my bed in hell, behold, thou art there.
He said, if I send up to heaven, thou art there. If I make my bed in hell, thou art there. So is the Lord, the Most High God, is he in hell with Satan and in heaven at the same time? Is he there and there? Right? Is he under the ground with Satan in the pits for it? That's not what it's talking about. All right? Read on.
Verse 9, if I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there shall thy hand lead me, and thy right hand shall hold me.
Right? So the point is, right, hell is the condition that you in, right? Hell is the condition that you in, or hell could be talking about the grave. And hell can be talking about this fire that we bringing out, right? So real quick, backing off the Lord going to get the victory, go to Revelation 14. All right, Revelation chapter 14 from the top. All right, we're not going to go through the whole thing. We're just going to prove that the Lord going to get the victory. Right.
Revelation chapter 14 and verse 1. And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Sion, and with him 144,000.
So the Black Messiah, right, is standing victoriously. And who is he standing with? His army, the 144,000 government body of the nation of Israel, Black, Hispanic, and Native American men standing behind them, looking strong and austere, right? And they're not up there looking like TD Jakes. They're not up there looking like what's the singer? Kirk Franklin, man. They're not looking like Kirk Franklin and Ty Tribbett, right? They're looking like mean, austere men with fringes on, man. Right? Read on.
Having his father's name written in their forehead.
Right.
And I heard a voice from heaven as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder. And I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps. And they sung, as it were, a new song before the throne, and before the four beasts and the elders. And no man could learn that song, but the 144,000.
Right. So the Lord is going to be victorious in that. He's going to take down the 7 heads and the 10 horns. 13:1, right? To prove that the Lord is going to destroy the so-called white man. And we're the so-called white man, like the brothers just said, right? Revelation 13:1, real quick.
The book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 1. And I stood upon the bed of the sea and saw a beast.
Saw who?
A beast.
He saw a beast. This beast that he's talking about is a man, and it represents Esau, the Edomites. It's representing the kingdom. Real quick, let's show you that beast are referred to as men, right? Just real quick. I'm going to go through it swift. Right? The book of Psalms.
32.
Right? Yeah, we can get the one in the 70. The book of Psalms, chapter. Which one do I want? I want Psalms, chapter. Salakia, bear with me. Psalm chapter 49 and verse. Let's get 20.
Book of Psalm 49 and 20.
Right.
Man that is in honor and understandeth not.
And understandeth not
is like the beast.
is like the what?
Is like the beast that perish.
So the so-called white man, he doesn't have the spirit of truth or understanding. So he's like the beast that perished. And you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, if you don't come to this truth, hey, you're not gonna make it, right? So go back to Revelation 13.
Revelation 13 and 1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea,
Right?
having 7 heads and 10 horns.
7 heads and 10 horns. The 7 heads represents the so-called white man's kingdom. Right?
Call them out.
Yeah, Greece, Rome, Spain, France, Germany, Russia, Great Britain. Those are the 7 heads. Again, Greece, Rome, Spain, France, Germany, Russia, Great Britain. That's 7. That's the 7 heads. The 10 horns represents the European Union, right?
10 common markets.
The 10 common markets.
Or NATO.
Right? So that's the 7 head and the 10 horns. Now, this is talking about 7 Edomite kingdoms, right? It's not talking about Egypt. It's not talking about Persians and the Medes. It's not talking about. It's not what it's talking about. 7 Edomite kingdoms. Go to Revelation chapter 12, right, in verse 1.
Revelation 12 and 1. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars.
Right, talking about the Israelites, right? Talking about the chosen, right? Read on.
And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth.
She, being with child, cried, travailing with birth. Read on.
And there appeared another wonder in heaven,
right?
And behold, a great red dragon.
The great red dragon is what you read about in Revelation 13, that beast. The great red dragon, right? Now, to prove that it's talking about Esau, it says this beast is a great red dragon. Who's red?
Genesis 25.
Yeah, man. You got to go through the precepts. Go to Genesis chapter 25.
Genesis
right?
25 and verse 25.
The great red dragon, right? Bring it up.
And the first came out red.
And the first came out red, right? Talking about Isaac and his wife, right? He entreated of the Lord for his wife was barren, right? Read on.
And they called Slakia all over like an hairy garment.
The first came out red all over like a hairy garment. Read.
And they called his name Esau.
Esau, right? Talking about what? They call him down south rednecks, right? They call him hairy. They say it's so easy the caveman could do it, right? It's talking about the birth of the so-called white man, right? He's red all over. Go back to Revelation chapter 12.
Revelation 12
3.
and 3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven. And behold, a great red dragon.
A great red what?
Red dragon.
So the so-called white man is called a dragon in the Bible, right? Job chapter 30 and verse 29, right? Bring it out. He's called a dragon. He's called a serpent. He's called the devil, man. That's what he's called, man. So they get mad at us when they say, hey, listen, man, these are devils. The word devil means deceiver, right? Dragon, right? Job chapter 30 and verse 29.
Job chapter 30, verse 29. I am a brother to dragons.
I am a what?
I am a brother to dragons.
See that? Job was an Israelite, right? And he was black. The next verse will tell you that, right? He said, I'm a brother to dragons, right? Read on.
And a companion to owls.
And a companion. Now read the next verse to show people that Job is a so-called black man.
My skin is black upon me.
See that? Now go back to 29.
I am a brother to dragons.
I am a brother to dragons, right? Genesis 25 tells you that, Esau was our brother. Guess what he did? He broke the everlasting covenant. Established in the back, he had a perpetual hatred towards us, right? Genesis 27 will tell you that, right? So he's a brother to dragons. That's what the so-called white man is. He's known as a dragon, right? Get Psalms chapter 91.
Psalm chapter 91.
All right, Psalm chapter 91 and verse 13.
And 13. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and adder, the young lion and the dragon.
And the who?
And the dragon shalt thou trample under feet.
See that? We're going to trample this dragon under our feet, right? How? Because the elect are going to repent, right? Survive Jacob's trouble, World War III. They're going to get the kingdom of heaven. The Lord is going to destroy the wicked, right? So, go back to a brother's got precept. Go to Psalms chapter 86 and 13.
So Psalm 86 and verse 13.
All right, Psalms chapter 86 and verse 13.
For great is thy mercy toward me, and thou hast delivered my soul from the lowest hell.
From the what?
From the lowest hell.
So we want to be delivered from the lowest hell, right? Which is sin, right? That second death, man. We want to conquer death in hell and the lake of fire, right? We want to be delivered from this lowest hell, right? Not underground with a red man, right? Go to Psalms chapter 9 and verse 17.
Psalm 9 and 17. The wicked shall be turned into hell.
The Lord said the wicked shall be turned into hell. See that? Real quick, go to John chapter 26 and 6. Right, about the wicked being turned into hell.
Book of John chapter 26 and verse.
Salakia, John. That's not what I want. I'll find it. Nah, it's in Matthew about it's Matthew about the wicked city turning into hell. That wicked city. I'll find it. Kind.
All right, let's go back to the book of 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 6. I'm gonna bring that out for me.
Oh, kind of slag. I found it.
Got it.
Real quick, Matthew chapter 11 and verse 23.
Matthew chapter 11 and verse 23. And
Right. Start at 22, Salaki.
22. But I say unto you, it shall be more tolerable for Tyre and Sidon at the day of judgment than for you.
Right.
And thou, Capernaum, which are exalted unto heaven, shalt be brought low, Salaki, shalt be brought down to hell.
Shall be what?
Shalt be brought down to hell.
So did that wicked city, did they go underground with Satan? Right? You know, they was on the earth. Now they with Satan. You know, they doing their thing down there. They're brought down. No. right? They're brought down to hell, meaning a lower state, right? Read that again, verse 23.
Verse 23. And thou, Capernaum, which are exalted unto heaven.
They're exalted unto heaven because they're proud, just like America. It's the same way. They're proud, and they call themselves above the Most High, like I tell you in Ezekiel 28th chapter, right? Read.
Shall be brought down to hell.
Shall be brought down to hell, right? Kind of brings the precept.
I want to go back to 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 6. I want to touch on what you brought out. Okay.
1 Samuel chapter 2 and verse 6.
Come on.
The Lord killeth
Uh-huh.
and maketh alive. He
Uh-huh.
bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up.
See, the Most High is the one who put everybody in positions. He the one who raises kingdoms and destroy kingdoms. He's the one who put people in rulership, and he's the one who put people in captivity. Okay. So therefore, he is the one who actually does all things. So the reason why we are in the condition we are in today is because of the Most High. All right. There's the reason why he done that. That's basically give me Deuteronomy real quick. Just want to real quick. Give me Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 47.
Look at Tobit chapter 13, verse 2. Then Tobit wrote a prayer of rejoicing. This is going back on 2 Samuel 2 and 6. Look at Tobit chapter 13, verse 2. So, start at verse 1. Slightly. Then Tobit wrote a prayer of rejoicing and said, Blessed be God that liveth forever, and blessed be his kingdom. Verse 2. For he doeth scourge and have mercy. He lead it down to hell and bring it up again. Neither is there any that can avoid his hand.
That's fire right there.
Me precept.
That's fire right there.
Me.
That's fire. We get Deuteronomy 28:47. That's fire right there.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 47.
That was a me precept.
Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things.
That's why right there. Because for one, the Most High, he fulfilled his promise that he gave unto our forefather Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And he literally gave us the world. He gave it to us, but we did not appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
We did not accept it joyfully.
Right.
Okay, we felt like it was a burden for us to receive these things, and he gave us his glorious laws, statutes, and commandments. He put us on a pedestal above all, and we did not appreciate it. So you know what he did? Lamentations chapter 2, verse 1. He stripped us from our power. He stripped us and brought us down into hell. We was in heaven. He brought us down to hell. Why? Because we did not appreciate it. And now that's why we're in the condition we are in today. Now we're gonna have to earn it. He gave it to us. We didn't accept it. Now he said, now you're going to earn it.
Yeah.
Okay. Why? Because you did not appreciate it when I did give it to you. Just like look at parents and children today. We give our children something. They don't appreciate it until they go out there and work for it. Then they earn it. Then they will show more appreciation towards it. Same thing today. We're going to have to earn that thing. We're going to have to earn the kingdom this time.
Con.
Now you learned about the heavens. It's 4 heavens. You learned about hell, right? Being a lower state, being in the condition or the fire, the judgment that the Most High has. Now, where do you go when you die? Let's cover this real quick. We're gonna get a few more precepts. Might have to do a part 2 on this, right? Genesis chapter 3 and verse 19, right? Genesis chapter 3 and verse 19.
Genesis 3 and 19. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread,
Right?
till thou return unto the ground.
To return where?
Unto the ground.
Read.
For out of it wast thou taken.
So you return into the ground. You return into the ground. What were you made out of? You were made from the dust of the earth. Different elements from the earth. That's why you have iron in your body. That's why you have different mechanisms from the earth, titanium, etc. All these things were made from the earth. By who? By Yahweh Shai and the angels. Right? You return back into the ground. Right? Get Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 20. What was that? Genesis 3:19. Get Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 20.
Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 20. all go unto one place.
The Lord. Now, this is what the Lord said. All go into one place. Who's the all that he's talking about? He's talking about men. He said, all go into one place. Read.
All are of the dust.
All are of the dust. Talking about men. All are of the dust. Read.
And all turn to dust again.
And you turn into dust again. Right? When you die, your body goes to the dust. Right? It goes to the dust. It goes to what you call the grave. Shawa'ar, the grave. Right? Get Job, right? Chapter 3 and verse 12.
The book of Job, chapter 3 and verse 12.
Right? Your body, your this flesh goes to the earth, goes back to Shawa'ar or Sheol, what people would say, which is the grave, which is hell. Right? Bring it out.
Why did the knees prevent me? Or why the breast that I should suck? For now should I have lain still and been quiet. I should have slept. Then had I been at rest.
He said, listen, man, I'm going through it, man. My woman, scoffing against me. She pointing her hand on my forehead and calling me a nigga, man. And why you want to keep the commandments and why you don't want to be, why you don't want to smoke weed with me and you don't want to go to the club anymore. And, why you done playing, you don't want to play chess no more. And, you don't want to be a singer, right? You don't want to be an entertainer. And, you don't want to gang bang no more. You don't want to sell drugs and, you don't want to play back. Hey, right? We're not doing that. We coming back to our rightful estate being kings and priests. So in doing that, Job said, listen, I was going through it, man. Right? Read on.
But verse 14, with kings and counselors of the earth, which built desolate places for themselves.
Right?
Or with princes that had gold, who filled their houses with silver. Or as in hidden untimely birth, I had not been, Salaki, as infants which never saw light.
Right?
There, the wicked
He
ceased.
said those infants that didn't see light and all that affliction, there, the what?
The wicked cease from troubling.
That there is a place. There, the wicked cease from trouble. Read on.
And there, the weary be at rest.
This place or that there that he's talking about is where? The third heaven. Right? When you die, your flesh goes to the ground, goes back to the grave or Shawa'ar, the earth. Your spirit goes up to the third heaven with the Most High, right? Where all people go, right? Read that verse again.
Verse 17. There the wicked cease from troubling, and there the weary be at rest.
There the wicked cease from troubling, whether you was an Edomite, an Israelite, right? No matter what you are, right? That's the only place where your nationality, is kind of, your nationality comes into effect when you're on the earth. There, the wicked goes there and the righteous, right? Read on.
There the prisoners rest together.
See that? And you're the prisoner, right? The Lord said that we were prisoners in his body, right? Read on.
They hear not the voice of the oppressor.
They don't hear the voice of the oppressor, right? You're not getting afflicted by your chief enemies in the spirit world. The Edomites are not ruling over the Israelites. That would be off. The Edomites, King Herod, he's not telling the Most High what to do, right? Who else? Who was a wicked Edomite? Yeah, Nebuchadnezzar. They not running things up there, right? Real quick, go to 2nd Esdras chapter 14 and verse 35. You got precept? Kind.
The book of Isaiah chapter 26, verse 5. For he bringeth down them that dwell on high, the lofty city. He lay it low, even to the ground. He bringeth it even to the dust. Verse 6, the foot shall tread it down, even the feet of the poor and the steps of the needy.
Right? All things is in an order that the Most High has set, right? When you die, your spirit goes up to the third heavens, right? And then the Most High sends your spirit down, right? Your body goes to the grave, which is the earth, right? Goes back to the earth. What I call 2nd Esdras 14 and 35.
2nd Esdras 14 and 35. For after death shall the judgment come.
After death shall the judgment come, like it told us once to die, then the judgment, right? It's not catch, you don't get 7 lives, right? You die on the earth, Your spirit goes to the heavens, and the Most High sends your spirit down. As you die, your body goes to the earth, to the grave, the shower. Your spirit goes to the third heavens. Most High sends your spirit back down. You receive another body. Right? Read that again.
Well, after death shall the judgment come, when we shall live again.
When we shall live again. That's what the Lord said. You receive your judgment in the heavens, and then you're going to live again. Right? Read.
And then shall the names of the righteous be manifest.
Then shall the names of the righteous be made manifest. Oh, you got a precept? Kind of bring it up.
Book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, verse 9, 9 to 11. The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It hath been already of old time, which was before us. Here's big, but this verse gonna piggyback what Brother Ndor brought out. There is no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after. So when he brought up that you do what you do on earth, you die, your spirit go to the Most High, and he sent a spirit back. You will not remember nothing of what that happened in that lifetime of what you experienced on earth. So when you, basically, like I said, you go up there, you get your judgment, and basically your spirit comes. So whenever you wake up in that new life, that's your judgment.
That's right. That's right.
That's your judgment.
Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 16.
Right.
And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment.
The what?
The place of judgment.
I saw under the sun the place of judgment. Read.
That wickedness was there.
Right.
And the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there.
See that? So you receive your judgment in the heavens, and then it plays out on the earth. Now, real quick, read Ecclesiastes 1 and 9 again. All right, Ecclesiastes 1 and 9.
Okay. Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 9. The thing that hath been.
The thing that hath been, right?
It is that which shall be.
So what is this thing? Because it could be talking about anything. We saying it's men, right? We're telling you that it's you. It could be anything. It could be talking about, a laptop. It could be talking about a Gatorade bottle, right? What is this thing that hath been already, right? Go to Ecclesiastes 6 and 10.
Ecclesiastes chapter 6 and verse 10. That which hath been is named already,
Right?
and it is known that it is man.
No, it's what?
It is man.
It is man. That thing that have been already, right? And there's no new thing under the sun is man. When you read Ecclesiastes 1 and 9, that thing is talking about men. So you come back on the earth, that is the thing that regenerates. Everything has a cycle. Just like you have a water cycle, right? You have a water cycle. The water comes from the heavens, right? Hits the earth. Guess what? It so-called evaporates. What does it do? It happens all over again, right? Just like men, right? Men, right? Your spirit comes from the third heaven, right? The Most High give you your judgment. Your judgment plays out on the earth. Whatever your judgment is, that's how it's going to happen. Your body enters into the ground. Your spirit goes back where? To the third heaven. That's why Jake, I feel like I've been here before, and I got a whole soul. And hey, man, you've been here before, man. You've been here several times, right? Hey, more than several times, man.
Just to go off what brother saying, just go to show you that Israel don't die.
That's right.
The Most High, he gonna always deal with us. We're gonna always be here.
Right.
Everybody, he gonna wipe out other nations, but Israel will always remain here.
Right.
That's 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 55. I'll read it real quick. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes.
See that?
So we're gonna always be here.
That's right.
Bring it up. The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12 and verse 7. Then shall the dust return to the earth.
The Lord said, then shall the dust return to the earth as it was. That's the spirit, because I was about to call that precept afterwards. It says, then shall the dust return to that which was, right?
And the spirit shall return unto the Most High who gave it.
And then the spirit returns back to the Most High who gave it, right? So your body goes to the earth, and your spirit goes back to the third heaven. Right. So how do you, brother, got another precept? How do you escape hell? Right now that you know that hell is not underground with heaven, with Satan and what's going on, how do you escape the hells that are on the earth? What brothers got to do?
Commandments.
You got to keep the commandments,
Gotta
man.
repent.
You got to repent, right?
Amen.
Ezekiel chapter 12 and Ezekiel chapter 14 and verse 12, right? Ezekiel chapter 14 and verse 12, right? You got to know how to escape hell, man. A lot of people still think that they're not in hell and we're not in slavery, we're not in captivity, right? A lot of you jakes, man, you may think that this is your heaven because you have gifts of this society, right? Stop being selfish, man, right? It's about your nation of people.
Right.
You're not in heaven until your nation is in heaven, man.
That's
Right?
That's right.
So bring that out.
Ezekiel chapter 14 and verse 12. The word of the Lord came again to me, saying, Son of man, when the land sinneth against me by trespassing grievously, then will I stretch out mine hand upon it, upon it, and will break the staff of the bread thereof, and will send famine upon it, and will cut off man and beast.
The
from
Lord is going to destroy the land when there's sin on the earth. Look at how much sin is in America. So the Lord is about to destroy this place, right? And this is how you escape. And who escaped hell prior to, right? Jonah escaped it. He called on the name of the Lord. Noah escaped hell. It's going to tell you that, right? David, all of these men, they escaped hell. What did they do? They called on the name of the Lord, right? Read on.
Though these three men, Noah, Daniel, and Job,
And he told you that these three men escaped this judgment, this hell that they were in. Noah, Daniel, and Job. Daniel was in the lion's den, man. Right? Hey, some people, they would have fainted when they was in there, man. They would have said, Lord, why are you doing this to me? And Lord, I got beef with you, Lord. What's going? No. Why you call on the name of the Lord? Right? Read on.
were in it. They should deliver but their own souls by their righteousness.
By their what?
By their righteousness.
They delivered their souls by their righteousness.
Mhm.
Right? And we know that righteousness is what? Keeping the commandments, right? 2 precepts to prove that, right? To close it out, right? Deuteronomy 6 and 25.
Oh yeah.
Right? Deuteronomy 6 and 25.
The book
Right.
of Deuteronomy chapter
Now the commandments is what you have to keep to escape the hell that you're in, right? All of the commandments, right? The dietary law, right? We know that the sacrificial law is not in effect at the moment because Yahweh Shai is our sacrifice, right? So you keep all the commandments to the best of your ability. You got to keep Passover. It's within your ability to keep. You can't eat shrimp, pork, crabs, or lobsters, right? 2 Timothy 4 is not saying that you can eat whatever, right? Acts chapter 10 is not saying that you can eat whatever, right? So let's see what righteousness is. Right?
Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 25. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord our God.
Now, what righteousness is the commandments, right? Psalms.
The book of Psalms, chapter 119 and verse 142. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth.
That's how you escape hell. World War III, Armageddon, Jacob's trouble, right? Brothers got closing precepts.
Yeah, I want to get on one. Go to the one he said who he showed his word to. Just go ahead and put the icing on the cake on this one.
Psalm
Yeah.
119 and verse
142.
172. I believe. Psalm 119 and verse 172.
You say you're looking for what?
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Right,
Psalms
yeah,
147.
You got it.
19.
Psalm 1. No, that ain't it. What you say?
So he showed his word to Jacob.
Yes, that's what I want.
147.
I got it. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 147
Right.
and verse 19.
Uh-huh.
He showeth his word unto Jacob,
Yeah.
his statutes and his judgments unto
So
Israel.
there goes to show you that the Most High, this is who repentance is for. This is when he's talking about his statutes and commandments. This is the ones who got it, and you can find out who Jacob is in Genesis 32. There's 32 or 36. 32, I think. Genesis 32. When when our forefather's name was changed to Israel.
7,
Con.
22, 27.
Yeah, okay. So that's who he say he showed his word unto Jacob, his statute and judgment unto Israel.
He hath not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them.
Go to Amos chapter 3, verse 1. Amos chapter 3, verse 1.
Book of Amos, chapter 3 and verse 1. Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel,
That children of Israel, meaning the children of Jacob. That's what he's talking about. Come on.
against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt.
That's not the whole world. That's the family of Israel. That's all 12 tribes. That's who he's talking to, not the world, not the whole entire planet Earth. He's only talking to the 12 nations, the 12 tribes, the one nation that he called out of all 18. That's what he's making reference to. Come on.
Saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth.
You the only one I showed my word to. You the only one I gave my law, statutes, and commandments to. Come on.
Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquity.
That's the judgments for breaking the commandments and the laws.
Con.
All right.
That's right. Two more precepts to close out. Revelation 21 and 1. Right? Revelation 21 and 1. Good segue.
Book of Revelation, you said
21 and 1. Con.
Book of Revelation, chapter 21, verse 1. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there were no more sea.
All right, jump to verse 12.
Going to verse 12, and it reads, and had a wall great and high, and had 12 gates.
How many gates?
12 gates.
This new heaven got how many gates?
12 gates.
Read.
And at the gates 12 angels.
Right.
And names written thereon,
Right.
which are the names of the 12 tribes
The
of
who?
the children, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel.
Of the children of Israel. Right. That's that new heaven. Right. Real quick. One more closing. Give me Isaiah chapter 25. Right. My favorite precept.
Right.
Right. Isaiah chapter 25.
Verse 9.
Con.
Book of Isaiah, chapter 25 and verse 9.
Start at verse 7.
Verse 7. And it reads, and he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. He will swallow up death in victory.
He will swallow up death and victory.
And the Lord Yahweh will wipe away tears from off all faces.
Read.
And the rebuke of his people shall he take away from off all the earth.
Right.
And the Lord hath spoken it. Slakia, for the Lord hath spoken it.
Read.
And it shall be said in that day, lo, this is our God.
Everybody's God.
This is our God.
Right.
And we have waited for him, and he will save us. For this is the Lord. We have waited for him. We will be glad and rejoice in his salvation.
All praises to the Most High, man.
Praises.
Right?
Yeah.
12 tribes of Israel, repent, keep the commandments. Hell underground with Satan is not real, right? Keep the commandments to the escape the hell on earth that you're living in, the conditions to be a part of this new heaven and this new earth that the Lord is about to establish, right? Today's the Sabbath day. Keep it holy, right? Fisherman for Zion. Come here, Salah.
Come here, Salah.
That was powerful, right? I like that.
Yeah, that was about 2:30. That was good right there. That was a spirit.